Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt, man! All right! Episode 72 of Shirt Show! We're talking with Ricky from Presstime in Canada. Let's go! Shirt show!
Hey there, Cutie Patootie.
Hey.
Hey.
Check.
Can you hear me? Hey there. I like your hair. It's very nice. Nice little swoop to it.
Did you say swoop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I got to get ready for pH.
Right. The pH balance.
Right. It's a big deal happening up there. And I got some clean underwear,
Oh, hell yeah. Clean underwear.
Yep. So I don't stink up the place. And got a fresh haircut, got a new pair of shoes.
Do you ever wear like the athletic underwear for when you're printing in the shop? So you don't get so saggy and sweaty down there? Your legs don't rub together?
I don't wear underwear. Yeah, here. I never wear underwear.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I get that chub rub.
No, I guess you do. Do you wear the athletic underwear or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
If I know I'm going to be moving about.
Well, where's that been all of this entire time? 70, however many episodes. Where's your shop hack for some athletic underwear?
Wear athletic underwear?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your week, bud.
Well, it's just been another doozy. I think that I can't remember. Doozer. Another doozer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is? It's not doozy. I've said it all wrong.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Such a doozer.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't cry this week though. No.
What's funny is like I had a kind of a rough day yesterday and then I got home and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I could go for like a good cry, like legit, like a man deep moaning cry.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't do it. Couldn't pull it off.
You should have recorded it and
sent it to you.
Sent me the audio of that deep man cry. Yeah. That'd have been nice.
Yeah. But it didn't happen. I just
like bottled it up.
No, I had a talk and I figured some stuff out and I came here and I cranked the music up and I was fine. I fucking sweat it out, man.
Yeah. Well,
so you had a doozer.
So how we have a production meeting and it's not with production though, which is kind of backwards. But it used to be. It's just that we figured we're holding up production by having a production meeting. So it got reduced down to like shipping and receiving.
And managers.
And managers. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. It's changed over the years, right? I mean, who's in this meeting, who's not. And so we kind of did it. It's new now. And I don't say much. I say very, very little. And Kyle goes through the list as fast as we can and to identify any problems. That's that production meeting, right? Like what are we going to be printing, like the schedule. But right. I had a different production meeting with production on, I want to say it was like Wednesday or something like that. It went really well.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it's been such a long time and I typed up like 5, 6 maybe bullet points, and
was it for the actual day or was it just to get people on the same page?
People on the same page. It wasn't for like what we're running for the day. It was
right.
Just some updates like, hey, here's what we're doing. We talked about the new, I don't know if you saw, but we put some magnets up on our stainless steel tables to hold our paddles, like the spatulas.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
We sort of talked about that and how exciting that is. Because we were keeping it in this trough and we'd pile them in there. And then if they were leaning heavy to one side, the trough would spill over and they would go crash on the floor. And
that's the noise they would make.
Yeah, really close. And we talked about that. And we talked about, I liked this one. I said that if the press stops, that's an absolute failure.
And you told them that to their faces?
I did. That's a Ryanism.
Right.
Which is true. But, to have that conversation with production and saying, hey, if that press stops, it's an absolute failure. And what can we do to keep the press moving?
Right.
And we talked about those things. What are you fucking around with?
I'm typing notes for the episode because I'm thinking of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're done, let me know. I'm going to chill right over here with my hat.
No, don't put that hat on. You're going to ruin your hair. Don't you do it. You're going to ruin the swoop.
You sounded so dad. You sounded so dad right there. You're like, don't you do it. And the kid's
don't you fucking do it.
I'm gonna do it. And the kid just does it. And then there's a spanking, right? After that. Pankins. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Or timeout.
Bear buzz.
Do you do the timeout or you do the spank?
I just go right to fucking beating within an inch of their life.
Right. Yeah.
That's I don't even give them a warning. I just come in swinging.
I like it. So you modify behavior with extreme punishment.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
If you fuck up, I'm bringing pain.
Yeah. And if you do good, not a word, right. Like, then you don't get beat.
When they say they're hungry, I just bring them a knuckle sandwich.
Right. I know your dad used to tell you that for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's where you got that one.
No, we used to have skip it when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. That was what was for dinner. Skip it.
Always. It was skip it. Dad, what's for dinner? Skip it. And then I just went hungry. It wasn't a real joke. It was just reality.
Like nothing, because that's pretty close to skip B, like peanut butter.
Nope. Right. Just nothing.
When your dad said skip it, you should have said, is that like peanut butter? Like the different kind of peanut butter?
Then I would have got a knuckle sandwich for dinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how was your week? Tell me about that.
It was a doozer.
You mean a doozy?
A doozy. Yeah, it was a doozy.
Yeah, doozy.
It was the same as you, just trying to get through it basically. Every day was just, wake up, come to work, do what you got to do. That, the mild boys life, the go home, go to bed, wait for tomorrow.
Yeah. Mild boys.
Yeah. Mild boys. And, that was pretty much it. I don't think I did anything really Friday night. And then Saturday, I woke up in the morning and I was, I felt good. I was well rested. I was laying in bed on my phone and I got a text from a big customer. It was like a normal $15,000 order that we shipped halfway across the country. And I got a text from them saying, hey, the merch didn't show up for the show last night. And I said, that sucks. And then what I proceeded to do was I panic mode, contacted UPS, and I spent probably 2 hours on the phone with UPS and other people trying to figure out what's up with these packages. So it was a 14 package shipment and 2 packages got delivered on Friday. The other 12 didn't. So I was like, what the fuck? So I spent 2 hours doing it. And then I finally got everything figured out. I called UPS. They were going to urgently put it on a truck and drive it to the venue so they would have stuff for the other remaining days of the weekend. Because normally that's what they do is they have shows, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. And then that's it. So I was like, all right, at least you're going to have a bunch of stuff for tonight and Sunday night. Well, I text that to the customer and they text me back. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. We only had one show last night. So I spent all that time freaking out, trying to do everything I could to get them. So then I ended up panic calling my rep who was home babysitting his kids for UPS. And he ended up getting it to override everything I did all morning and had everything returned, rerouted back to me. So I was like, why didn't you lead with, I don't need the merch. It's over. Not
right. He just wanted to
freak the fuck out for hours.
He wanted you to, I think, probably. Mm-hmm. He probably wanted you to freak the fuck out for a minute.
Yeah.
And go through all that trouble. Yeah. Uh-huh. Maybe that was.
So then even better to top that Saturday off. Like I said, I was, I needed a relaxing Saturday after the week. So as I'm doing all this calling UPS, I'm driving my daughter to a little girl's birthday party. It was at the Cinema Saver. I was taking her there. But my daughter doesn't really like to be alone. So she's like, Dad, will you stay with me? And I was like, can I just please sit in the car? And
wait a second. You were driving your daughter to the Cinema Saver and you're going to drop her off just to watch a movie by herself?
No, she was invited to a friend's birthday party. like a friend from school.
Okay.
So I was going to be like, okay, yeah, stay here with all the girls.
More normal.
I will literally sit in the parking lot right outside the front door. When it's over, walk outside. I will be right outside the door. She was not having it. She was like, nope, you need to be like with me in eyesight in the same room. So I was like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I'm not that dude. Like, I hate kids' birthday parties to begin with. I will do anything and everything to get out of them. So anyway, I'm there. And then I realized that like this little girl who invited my daughter to the birthday party was like, Libby was like the only one that was a friend that was invited. Everyone else was family members. So here I am with like a bunch of these other little girls at a birthday party, and everyone else that's there is like moms of the kids, and they're all family members. So here I am, like this big creepy fucking dude sitting in the corner of a little girl's birthday party. And to top it all off, my already shitty day, there is 0 cell service. So I can't even like look at my phone for like 4 hours while I'm here.
Well, that's good, because if you looked at your phone while you're in the theater, nobody likes that. They would have hated you. And
but it wasn't even in the theater. It was like in a party room. So I was like sitting in the corner of a party room, being the creeper dude, like watching little girls play at a party. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fucking sucked.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
I've been stuck at those birthday parties before too. I usually, though, I just start playing though. I just jump in and
no, that would not have been the vibes.
Start bowling or whatever we're at. I don't know what they were doing, but you probably would have got arrested. I bet.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was really trying not to get arrested. So anyway, I leave there. I go home. I eat dinner. I'm like, I need to just like get out of here. I need to like wind down and relax. So I came to the shop and I called you first of all. And then I just was here all night long till whatever, like midnight. And I just like cleaned and organized and got everything together. And then I went to bed, woke up this morning, and then we just worked a full day. Like my guys are still out there working right now.
Yeah, we did not print today. However, somebody is here checking in shirts. Yeah. So there's that.
Working on a Sunday.
A little bit.
But you do what you got to do, man.
You do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, like after that rough Saturday, just being here, like cleaning and organizing and like having tunes cranked, just being by myself, it was good meditation time to just do something productive for the day.
Well, I have something that'll cheer you up.
Do we have to shut the camera off for this?
What kind of pants do ghosts wear?
Not Janko jeans.
No, that would be good though. That is kind of scary.
Fuck yeah, it is.
But they wear boo jeans.
Boo jeans? Doesn't even make sense.
It makes total sense. Joanne laughed at that. I test these on her first. What's a ghost's nose full of?
Boogers.
Yep.
Why wouldn't I get that one? It's always
Good job, Dylan.
something.
Good job.
Why did Dracula not want to attend the business meeting?
Something about blood, probably, or biting.
He was afraid of all the stakeholders.
Steak. Oh, because they're sharp?
Because they're steaks.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because they dry. I get it now.
Right.
See, I don't know these. I'm slow.
Did you hear about the guy who dipped his testicles in glitter?
Did you write this joke? I feel like you might have.
Pretty nuts, right?
Yep. That's a good one. All right. We should move on, I think.
Okay.
Easy Way's line of eco-friendly chemicals will get the job done faster, more efficiently, and will cost you a fraction of the cost per
screen.
Easy Way.
It's the easiest way. I can't wait to bust Alex's balls on Thursday.
Is he going to be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. All of our buddies are going to be there, I think, except Aaron.
Well, it's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait.
Y'all ready for this?
I am you.
That twingy thing.
Yeah, GSF. Do you know I had a long, hard conversation with Frank, and Kyle was in here and Daniel was in here, and we are having some frames restretched, and I'm getting 230s put on almost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know if I should get thin, like the Hydro, or just go back to standard for the 230s.
Why?
I know. Well, because that's the one we lose the most. It seems like those are the ones that don't last as long. And so we thought, well, I'm not saying to go back to the 156s and stuff like that and the 140s or 180s. I'm talking about just 230s. He actually got Sadi on the phone and we had a conversation and we decided to stick with Hydro.
Okay.
I won't bore you with the details.
I want to go into the details, but let's do it
but
in
we
the episode.
Can't. We can't.
Let's
First
do
of all,
it in the episode.
I don't remember all of them, but I'll try.
Oh, God.
So Frank, he and his team, their company is called Graphic Screen Fashion. You might know them as GSF. If you're looking to go to their website, you can go to graphicscreenfashion.com, or you can go to FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or you can go to
greatfuckingscreens.com.
Right.
They really are the world's best screens. Just call Frank, get yourself a test batch of like 4 or 5 screens of the most used meshes you have and compare them to what you have now.
I call it a 5-pack.
Right. But just do a test and compare to what you currently have.
You don't have to believe us. It's fine.
Test that shit.
See for yourself.
Right.
Action Engineering. They make accessories that printers need.
Mm-hmm.
For example, they make a peel and stick pallet rubber, which, by the way, you are going to call.
I called you about.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are the poster boy for their peel and stick rubber.
Yeah. Is that a good thing, poster boy?
Sure.
Usually it's bad.
Uh-huh.
But it's true.
But
it's true. So
fine. You do it.
No, you go ahead.
All right. So
I'm not going to say anything.
You're still talking. You're still fucking running your trap.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna go quiet. I'm muting it. You go.
You're still talking. Are you done? You're not done.
Yeah, done.
Okay. So I called you because I have some old pallets I want to put new pallet rubber on. And I have never in our history of being open changed pallet rubber or had to.
Weird.
But now I want to. So I peeled the pallet rubber off of one of them and it came off pretty easy. So I wanted to call you and confirm like, hey, did I do all this correctly? And you were like, yeah, you gave me some tips. And now I got to call action and order myself 16 pallet rubbers.
That's right. And when you do, be sure to mention the shirt show because you will get 15% off. Or if you decide not to call them, you just go to www.actionengineering.com. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go there,
HTTP, //
Yeah, right.
Right.
If you go there at checkout, enter shirt show and you'll get 15% off. I tried it and it works.
Mm-hmm. We actually got a couple DMs this week of people buying stuff with our code and sending us the discount they got. And it was like hundreds of dollars.
We did. And I was just getting ready to say what I bought. Do you want to hear or do you care?
I do. Go ahead.
Want to know what I bought?
What?
Squeegee rubber.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were going to order that from Frank though.
I did. But I ordered it by the yard, certain durometer from Frank. But Action has a certain one I like, 62, 90, 62.
That's what I use.
That's what I use.
That's what I use for whites.
That's what I use for whites. Mm-hmm.
We're agreeing on something?
Yeah, for twins, for Twinkies.
Oh, cool.
And I order them pre-cut. I don't.
Oh, God, I should do that.
It's a hassle, right? But I bought them. I buy them pre-cut 16 inches and they round the corners for me.
Oh God, I was going to ask that. That's so perfect. I need to do that from now on.
Yeah, call action. And at checkout, by the way, you have to put in the notes. You have to say round the corners. If you don't, then they won't come round.
Do you put in the notes pre-cut these for me, or is there a pre-cut option?
There's a pre-cut option. Yeah, it's a drop-down menu on the when you order the squeegees, and you can just say 16-inch, and then you have to put in the notes about the rounding.
Oh God! All right, I'm doing that.
All right. So next we have Monarch, and Monarch manufactures ink. And one of the things that I like about them, one of my favorite things, is their high opacity mixing system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, that's my favorite. And I love the mixing system. I have multiple pails of each pigment, and yeah, I have tons of white. Pretty much all of my ink at this point, other than water-based, is Monarch. All of my poly stuff, all my blockers, my CMYK, and the mixing system. I test everything and to see if I like it. I don't just buy it because of the name brand. I buy it because it's the best stuff, and they take the cake on everything I've ordered. So
ink better, print better, be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch.
It just sounds like balls clapping. It's so quiet. I'm gonna do this one.
Well, hey, Dylan, this week we have Ricky Pridmore. Is that right? No, I bet you it's Ricky Pridmore. Pridmore. What do you got?
Sure.
What is it?
I don't know.
How about this? Today we have Ricky. He is from Presstime Design and Screen Print, and they are out of Welland, Ontario, which is, if you didn't know, which I didn't know, I looked it up on Google Maps, and it is right up above Buffalo, like suburb almost.
Yep. Not far from me.
Mm-hmm. So you could go visit him pretty easily, probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me in Canada.
You ready for this?
Hey,
How's it going?
what's up?
Not much.
Look at that
Are
beautiful
we,
backdrop.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
I was going to do it from home, but then I'm like, I kind of got like this thing at work. Maybe I'll do it there. This isn't even my office.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just a wall in your shop and you just decided to set up in front of it?
Yeah. No, it's like right when you walk in is the first person you see.
Right.
So like that's the wall that you see when you come in.
Beautiful. It
Yeah.
sets the tone.
Yeah. I guess you know where you are, right?
Right.
How did you make that? Because we did something like that before, and it's off of an inkjet, wide format inkjet printer, whatever, like a sign printer. And then they just use special wallpaper material or something. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Yeah. We just ordered it. It's dude, it was a nightmare to put up. Like all the little things that touch. Like if I was going to do it again, which we will, because we're like got a whole new logo, lots of stuff like that. So we're going to redo something, and I'm for sure going to not have the artwork touch. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be a whole bunch of white space in the middle somehow, because like making those.
Oh, so you had to put two pieces together?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
Dude, it sucks so bad. Luckily, my dad is patient.
My problem with anything like that is even putting like pallet tape on, I can't do it without getting bubbles. So like putting shit like vinyl on, like that's not my thing.
Sucks. Dude, the pallet tape, do you do the thing? You like stretch it out, you just put a little on the end and
and then roll the roll over top of it.
Yeah. Dude, when somebody showed me that, I think it's a can't fail. Works every time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not normally my job. So when I have to do it once in a great while, I'm like not the best at it.
Right. And you guys also never do it.
Right.
Right.
Not as often.
I've heard you say that a bunch. We change ours pretty often.
Same.
So yeah.
We're actually to the point where we have to like make a note on the schedule to change the pallet tape so that it doesn't sit on there too long to where it won't come off.
Oh shit.
Like I want to just be like, every 2 months change the pallet tape, like no matter what.
Yeah.
Dude, we bought the pallets, the extra pallets, like 14 of them. I can't remember what it cost, but a lot.
Yeah.
And with the idea that, okay, we're going to do what Dylan does, and we're going to only run hoodies. We'll have, certain pallets for hoodies, right? And it just never works out that way. I don't know why, but it just never works out. And so we destroy all of our pallets. But we did.
How does it not work out?
It doesn't work out, man. Like, I don't know why, because it's not, I guess probably because we
They're
run
just like,
jobs.
fuck it, and they don't switch it.
Part of it is that, yeah. But we also run jobs that have both hoodies and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And so, I guess I get it. Like you would run the 100 shirts, 100 t-shirts,
and then you
would
take the
switch your
pallets off. Right.
And then now, let's say you run just 20 hoodies, and now you're going to switch your pallets back on for t-shirts again.
It's way faster than changing your pallet tape.
I don't know if it is.
Though?
Hell yeah, it is. What do you mean? Flip, pull it off, put a new one on. You tell me that's not faster than fucking putting pallet tape on and, putting fresh glue on and everything?
Pallet tape only takes like 10 minutes max because there's two guys on it. You know what I mean? There's one guy ripping it off. You got the press going around. One guy rips it off. The next guy puts it on. And then by the time it comes around, there's two guys cutting. So hopefully by the time you go around 2 or 3 times max, you're done.
Yeah, but taking a pallet off is the same thing. You could put the dwell on like 8 to 10 seconds or whatever, and then just flip them, take it off, put a new one on. Let it go
but then
around.
you're putting them, but then you have to put them back on, so there's that.
My mind is blown right now that you guys think that that's not as fast.
This is the first person ever that's been on my side, I think, that would say that maybe it's equal. I don't know, but I can tell you this. Instead of doing what you do, we had the idea of keeping those pallets for like poly shirts, 100% poly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so that they're always perfect instead, you know what I mean? Because you would have to, no matter what, you're going to have to change pallet tape when you run, that stuff. So
big time.
Yeah. We would always just add fresh glue before we do poly. Like no matter what, like even if you scrub the pallets and they're kind of tacky, like always add fresh glue before you're doing tri-blends or poly. Because they won't stick.
But I forgot that there was a viral video a couple of days ago with Kellen from Black and White, and he had that orbital sander on that pallet.
I think I've tried that before.
Ricky, did you see this?
No.
So you tried it before and it worked?
I think I've tried it before, but we just do water and a scrub brush, and I feel like it's just as fast as pulling on a sander.
That's a new argument. Maybe
let's just argue the entire episode about everything. Sounds good to me.
Get this. So we don't use the glue. Like we tried it for a while and then our pallets kept going to hell. So maybe if we did that, your theory, Dylan, would work with the 2 pallets.
Wait a minute. You don't use the glue?
No.
What are you using water-based glue, or are you using like the whatever one Andy uses?
We use spray web.
Oh, you're just using web for everything?
Yeah. Or mist. Like we just spray everything all the time. And we used to use the water-based stuff, and the first job would go great. And then we would get a hoodie job, for example, up next. And then we obviously have to spray the hell out of the pallet with the web, and then your thing's frigged.
Right. That's why we do we do one set for water base and one set for web, so that like the water based ones never get destroyed.
That might be a good call.
It is a good call.
Get on the glue train.
Mm-hmm. I try to avoid web glue as much as possible, just because of like getting on everything, or it's also not precise either. Like we did a job last week where, normally you would take web glue and you'd be like, okay, like, a couple across the pallet and load a hoodie. But we were doing it was almost a perfect like 14 by 20 or 14 by 19 rectangle print. And I had to like precisely web the entire pallet, like make sure every square inch of the pallet had glue on it, because we were getting things shifting in the corners or whatever. And it was annoying. And so like Brian was loading and I was spraying. And like I said, I was like a painter, like perfectly spraying every square inch of the pallet in order to get it to not move.
Yeah, dude, I got to say, I think it is kind of accurate, because you can see where it's going, where like, I feel like mist is just this like big cloud that hopefully it kind of gets in that area. But
and that's also stuff that kills you.
Spider-Man stuff. Yeah, dude, big time.
Dylan, I have a feeling I'm going to really like this episode, because
Because Ricky's on your side?
Well, no, he's just bringing a lot of different stuff right now. Like you don't hear people saying, fuck that, water-based adhesive or whatever roll tack. I'm a mist guy. Like you don't hear that often. And I really like it. Hey, how we were talking about our Mild Boys Club.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted, you're in this chat too.
I see Justin's texting me right now. I keep looking down and seeing Justin texting me.
So I texted, Dylan and I want to have this new club called Mild Boys. And I texted him a minute ago and I said, Dylan and I started a new club. Justin says, I want to be in it probably. I
like how he said probably afterwards.
I know. I said, yes. He said, where do I send the beehole pic?
Right.
And then I said, it's called Mild Boys. He says, oh,
I'm out.
What do the Mild Boys do?
So Justin is very Wild Boys as far as like doing anything and everything.
Boys. I thought you said Mild Boys.
Well, we did say Mild Boys. So anyway, me and Andy were talking about how lame we were, and that when we get done with work, we just go home, go to bed, wait for tomorrow. So we said that we're the Mild Boys and he's a Wild Boy. So we need to make a new club called Mild Boys, where we're just like mildly going through life.
Just taking it easy.
Right.
But Justin, he's not going to be a part of it.
Right. Yeah. We don't do beehole pics in the Mild Boys.
Yeah, I think once you get to a certain age, it really cuts into you're either straight up Mild Boy for life, or you got to keep it wild. I'm trying to keep it wild a little bit. I'm trying to do stuff. I try and live by the motto of yes. When people ask me to do stuff, unless I really, really don't want to do it, or think you're like a total jagwagon or whatever, if I really don't want to do it, then the answer is no. But otherwise, if like an old buddy's like, hey, dude, we got to drive 3 hours to go see this band on a Tuesday night, I'm like, yes.
Dude,
all right, let's go.
I used to be that way so bad. Like in high school, when I was 16, I got my license taken away like 2 months into having my license because I was doing like 80 and a 40. They immediately took my license away. So I fought it and I got like what is it called there? I got like a special license that basically they allowed me only to drive to school or to work. Like, and if I got pulled over doing anything other than that, I got it taken away for good. So anyway,
son, you got Wendy's in there. Yeah. That's got nothing to do with school.
Right. So anyway, I didn't care. I was like, whatever. So we I feel like every other night or whatever, we're going to shows like, let's go to a show in Rochester, which is like 3-hour drive. And it's like, let's go to a show here. Let's go to a show. It didn't matter. We just went to shows all the time. And it was that. And then doing the band where we were driving all over the place to go to shows. Now that part of my life is done, anytime anybody's like, hey, do you want to go to a show that's like in Buffalo or whatever? I'm like it could be like 3 months away. I'm just like, yeah, but I got to drive 4 hours there and 4 hours back.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I don't know. But like, I feel like when I was 17, 18, I was like, I don't care if I get home at 6 a.m. and I have to be to work at 7. Yeah. Now I'm just like, yeah, but I'm not going to get like at least 5 hours of sleep. I can't do it.
But you can't think about it like that. You got to think about it in more long-term. So just say you do that on a Tuesday night, you can catch up on Wednesday night.
Right. Yeah.
Then you're all good, baby.
Ricky, have you ever lost your driver's license?
No, I haven't. I've been a pretty good boy.
You can't lose it if you don't have it.
I got it. I failed once when I was trying to get it. I
failed my first time.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
But, man, mine was total horseshit. I got stuck in like a yellow light or something. The guy's like, you failed. I'm like,
wait, so you passed the written, you failed the actual. Yeah. Dylan, what did you do?
Yeah, obviously, if you don't pass the fucking written, you shouldn't be driving. So I passed the written, and then I did my first driving test. I did my first driving test, and it was the middle of winter, and I don't remember. It was like a weird intersection, and I was supposed to turn left, but I had to like wait for traffic, like you normally would on the other side. And I didn't wait. I just fucking pulled out into traffic. And the instructor grabbed the wheel and fucking jerked it in the other direction to like avoid getting hit. And it was super embarrassing.
I passed my driver's test the first time. I'm pretty proud of that. But it would have been in the
1840s,
I think. Yeah. But I did lose my license. It was like Christmas prom, and I had a car load I had my date, and then I think like 2 other people with their dates. And I was in my mom's car, and we passed wherever we had to go, wherever we were going. And so I was going to pull a Yui, and I did it at like a 3-way stop. And it was snowing lightly, like just a dusting.
I like where this is going. You e-braked it.
And so I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to spin it around. Right.
Fuck yeah.
And so like drift or whatever, like I'll be cool. And I did that, and it all worked out great. But there was like way off in the distance, there was some headlights. And those were the headlights of a cop. Yeah. Yeah. And he busted me for reckless driving, and I lost my license.
I did a perfect 360 in the middle of traffic once. It was awesome, but it was totally intentional. I like e-braked it and spun it right around and kept driving.
Oh, dude, that's badass.
I don't think I was trying to be a badass at the time. The road was slippery, and I was like, I think I could pull this off.
Were you by yourself or with buds?
No, I had people with me.
So that was in your wild boy days.
Yeah, now it's all mild boys from here on out.
You would never pull that now. No way.
Yeah, when you get kids in the car, you got to impress your kids.
You're like, don't tell mom.
Right. Don't tell mom, but let's fuck this shit up. So what's going on for you? Were you working at all this weekend, or are you
No, man. I try hard to not work at Presstime on the weekends. So sometimes I have to, of course, but I really try not to, unless it's stuff that I want to do, like, well, work out this new metric, or, some that kind of crap. I usually don't do like day-to-day stuff on the weekend, but this weekend kind of sucked because we're getting our floors redone at the house. And I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but it's all like sanding down the hardwood. Then they got to stain it. Then you got to like sniff that and burn all your brain cells all night. And then they're going to come back tomorrow and do it again. And then tomorrow's the 3rd day of them like glossing it or whatever they're doing.
Right.
So I've just been blowing brain cells like crazy all weekend. And you know how we were going to do the pod last weekend, and I couldn't do it because of Thanksgiving. Last night, there was a Friendsgiving where a friend of ours had a big Thanksgiving dinner. So I blew a bunch of brain cells there. My brain's basically mush at this point.
Between all the spray glue and huffing floors, you're not doing so hot.
Dude, I know. I'm getting dumber by the day, big time.
Yeah, they refinished our floors one time, and the guy who did it says, hey, so you don't want to spend the night here tonight. And we're like, what do you mean? They're like, well, it's going to be pretty strong. Well, we said, we're good. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. And so we spent the night there, and somebody called the fire department because they thought it was so strong, because this was in our condo. At the time we lived in this condo, and somebody else in that unit or in the building called because the odor was so strong coming from our unit that the fire department came because they thought there was a gas leak. We lived, but like you said, it destroyed many brain cells. It was bad. It was a bad move. I should never have done that.
That's like one of the last things we need to do in our house, because we redid almost the whole house, but we haven't redone any of the floors. That's like something where we need to legit do like a week Disney trip and just hire a company to come in and do it while we're gone. And when we get back, it's just done. That's
how you do it, man. Big time.
That's smart. Yeah. I thought like, look, I'm a screen printer. I can handle these fumes, right? Yeah. Like not a big deal, but this was more. This was a different level. I don't recommend it. Like what's so funny is like, we'll be in here and we try to open the doors whenever we can, like, especially like it's been this past week and stuff, but like towards the afternoon, I don't notice it. Like I'm just used to this or whatever. Every once in a while, a customer will come in and say, like that odor. How do you guys work here all day like this? And I'm like, what? I can't tell. Yeah. I don't know what you mean.
I like that odor. Nobody says anytime they like anything, they don't say, I like that odor. They say, I like that smell. You're like, I like that odor.
Yeah. Usually odor kind of means bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, like, it is bad.
Body odor is never good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's true. Some people.
Mm.
We always have people come in. We always have people come in the front office, like through the door, and they're like, "Oh, I love the smell in here." But it's like we have no smell of, and like we have no air fresheners or anything. It's just the smell of the shop, I guess. But like, it's one of those things, like I have no idea. Do either of your parents like smoke as kids?
Mine did, but she hid it from us.
Oh.
So not like around us.
See, like my mom smoked like in the house, and my stepdad smoked in the house. And like all through middle school and high school, I didn't know what cigarette smoke smelled like. Like I had no idea. You know what I mean? Like I'd have friends over and they'd be like, man, it smells like cigarettes in here so bad. And then I remember when I moved out and then I came back to visit my mom, I was like, holy fuck, are you telling me I smelled like this all the time?
Oh yeah, dude, your clothes smelled like darts 24/7.
Well, what was funny is like my mom moved, like our house that we grew up in, she moved to literally like the house next door, and we helped her move and we started taking shit off the walls. And my whole life, I thought our walls were like cream or yellow colored. Nope, they were white. You move a painting and there was a white square on a wall.
Gross.
Dude,
That's bad.
So we're getting off to a good start with all this, fumes in this episode.
That's not good for your young mind.
Mm.
What kind of a student were you? Were you like A or?
I, until ninth grade, was like really good student. Like I tried to get into the high honor study hall, and I did because I wanted to just have like the chill time in study hall, because you had more study halls if you were a high honor student.
What's a study hall?
Do you not have study halls?
What's a study hall?
He's in Canada. I don't know what they do up there.
They don't even do anything. You guys just fucking make maple syrup and bacon and shit all day.
Yeah. So, which I do love.
Right. So it's a period, like a class period, but there's nothing. Like you just sit in a room and you get to work on homework.
It's not a hall. Like it's not an actual hall.
It's just it's just a class period that is nothing.
Mm.
So you don't have to be anywhere, right? Like you could go home then.
No, you have to sit there.
You sign in or something.
It's just a time to like do stuff, like catch up on homework or notes or whatever.
Okay.
So like if say you had enough credits to like not need another class that period, you could have a study hall, which was just studying, like a time to study instead of math class.
Let's be honest. Most kids never study during that study hall.
You know what? I have like ADD with or like I would take quick notes in class, like, I don't know, just fast notes. And then in study hall, I would retype out all my notes from that class, like slowly and
get the fuck out
accurately.
Of here. Are you serious?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's healthy, but that's what I did.
Yeah, that's healthy. That's good.
Because I would like take my time and I would like do them like line by line. And I always wrote in all caps. So I would like rewrite everything nicely in all caps and like together.
Holy crikey.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
But then when I got to high school, it was all downhill after that, because it was like cars and girls and, parties at night and driving to shows super late at night. And then I was skipping a lot of class and I was just a piece of shit human. I had it so bad sometimes that I don't know if I talked about this yet or not, but I had a physics class. Like I had biology and I failed biology and had to take it again. But in order to graduate, you had to take physics to graduate, but I didn't have time to take chemistry. So I skipped chemistry completely and went right to physics, which you need chemistry in order to take physics, like the math to do it. And the teacher was like, Dylan, you're a moron. Like there's no fucking way you're going to pass physics without knowing any of this stuff. So Chris, who's like my best friend who also works here, he was in the same class. So the teacher had an agreement with both of us that like, if we had a test that day, Chris would take the test and I would just sit there. I wouldn't take any test. The teacher would quickly grade it at the end of class, give it to him. And I would go home, as I lived at Chris's house, and I would just study Chris's test, come in the next day and take the test. But I would just memorize like A, B, C, whatever. And I would pass the test. So I graduated with like a 65.
Nice. Solid C.
Yeah, solid.
I was going to try and blame it on the dart smoke, but no, it was the ladies got you all mixed up, huh?
Yeah, I just didn't care when I got to high school. I was like, I don't need any of this. This is stupid.
Dude, yeah, I really didn't care either. It was completely social, 100%. Like I'm a social butterfly. I like to mix it up with everybody. And school was not my thing. No, like the learning part, like I just didn't care about that one bit. It took me 6 tries to get 4 math credits. I was rolling in at a good 60% average. And that's just because I could charm teachers.
Right. That's all I had.
Why is it that now I would I would love to go to school. Like I would love to go sit through those classes and all that stuff. But then it was the worst thing in the world. You know, why is it? Maybe it's because I'm now a mild boy.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it.
Well,
you'd be taking notes and then retaking notes.
Like the truth of it is though, is that like we want to study things now and we want to read books and we want to do all this stuff because it's about a subject that we're actually doing and we're passionate about. Like in school, you're like, oh, I don't like, this is calculus. Like I'm literally never going to use this ever again. Right. And like whatever else you're doing in school, you're just like this, like zero of this sparks my interest at all. So
I think that's spot on, dude. Honestly, because I'm the same way too. Like I actually do study things that have to do with screen printing or other things that I'm interested in. But yeah, school, I was hurting. I think they should switch it all up, don't you think? Like they kind of change the curriculum.
100%.
1,000%.
About doing taxes, how to grow food,
or like home ec, or like welding, or
hey, I've got one. How about how to go to a fucking job interview?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good. Or like write a resume. You should see some of the shit that comes through here.
You know what's one of the classes I had that like I actually absorbed because I was just like neat and organized and like that stuff was accounting. Like taking an actual accounting class to like learn how to like do a checkbook. Like
coming from the guy who doesn't do his accounting ever or balances checkbooks ever.
True.
Interesting.
But it is helpful.
It was a brief interest.
Right. But I'm just saying like hands-on classes make a ton of sense because you're actually learning life skills like home ec. I learned how to sew. Like I learned how to make the knot for the needle to like sew stuff. Like I still carry that to this day to like sew a patch on something. Like if I have my own jacket and I want to sew a patch on, like I could sew it myself.
You should buy an embroidery machine.
Yeah. No. Oh. But I'm just saying like kids don't learn that shit. Like I have kids and they're in school and I see the shit that they're learning and they're doing like whatever it is now. You don't even know what it's called. Where it's just basically the teacher's just having you memorize shit all day long and then you write it down at a test. Like you don't absorb any of it. Like there's no hands-on. It's just like literally sit here, take notes on this subject and then do a test on it.
Yeah. I remember when my kid had to memorize the state constitution and I'm like, why are you even doing that? First of all, you might not even live here when you graduate and you could move to whoever or wherever. And instead of doing that, maybe you could like learn how to invest in stock or something, that would help you in the future. I'm with you. I like it. So let's start some sort of club. Let's start a movement. It's a movement.
Isn't there already a thing like, isn't it like Montessori schools or something like that?
Oh, maybe.
Where it's all hands-on stuff.
Yeah. But what about us public school kids? That's where I went. And what is it for them?
They're fucked. They're just fucked. All right. Well, let's get back to printing.
Yeah. True.
So Ricky, tell us your story. Tell us how you got started and the whole deal.
Dude, it's really, after listening to you talk, Dilly, it's really similar to you. Pin company, band, screen printing. Here I am.
I know it's funny. I see a lot of stuff that you do all the time and we chat once in a while. And it's like, I feel like we're just the same humans, but in different locations.
Dude, really close to it, I think. The pin company, well, for me, everything that we did, especially in the beginning, and even now to some degree, but now it's its own thing, of course. But in the beginning, I started a pin company because the band was buying a bunch of pins. And I'm like, oh, I got to help the band more. It was always about like what I can do for the band.
Right.
So like I was a total soldier for stuff like that. So I got the pin company going called Push My Buttons. And it was rocking, dude. We were like cranking out orders and I would always like set up things with say there's a music festival. I'd be like, hey, let me sponsor the not like with a lot of money. I'd be like, let me make free pins for the festival. And then you have to send out an ad to all the bands playing that if they get an order for this festival, they get it at half price or whatever the hell. So I was building up a bunch of clients like that. And I've always been like really into posters. So I wanted, like, right off the get-go, I knew that screen printed posters were cool. I knew I wanted to do them somehow. So, but I had no idea what that was all about. So when the band was getting tees, I went and picked them up from this dude who was doing it in his basement, and this place reeked. Like, it was.
It had an odor? It had an odor?
Yeah, it had an odor, a negative odor. And yeah, it was stank, baby. And I went down there and I was like really hooked. I thought it was so sick what he was doing. He was doing something really cool, actually, which is probably highly illegal at this point. But back in when I got the stuff, maybe 2005, when I went to meet him, or 2006, I think this is illegal. But he would print tees of, say, like AC/DC at Madison Square Garden, 1980.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that's illegal.
Well, back then, the internet was the Wild West.
Right.
So,
You
like,
mean he would print like a past show, a tour or whatever for a band, and then put it on eBay or something like that?
That's exactly it. But like, people through the grapevine were telling me that this dude was like personally netting like $200,000 or $300,000 a year doing this. Anyways, he would also take on orders from local bands and stuff like that. Right. So I went down there, seeing actually how it went down. And then I got a line that a bunch of screen printing stuff was for sale. So I went over there. It looked just like this dude's. It was, I think it was Brown, Brown Manufacturing.
Yeah.
I think it was all that stuff.
You can't miss it because it's actually brown.
Yeah, it's actually brown. Classic color.
Right.
And I got the stuff with the intent to do posters. So like, I'm chipping away at this thing, like knowing absolutely nothing. Like, one guy that I knew came by, he used to screen print, and he came by and was like, this is t-shirt ink. This is a squeegee. This is emulsion. I always called it enamel. And he's like, I let you call it that for like the first 6 months because I thought it was funny. But he taught me all that stuff. So I was trying to print posters, and then I quickly realized that, like, this is not poster stuff. This is t-shirt shit.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of just like made a switch from there, started printing the band stuff, taking jobs, kept growing and growing and growing. Here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's similar to what you did, right?
Yeah. How did you decide that you wanted to do buttons though? Like, what made you be like, oh, fuck, let me go buy a button maker and all this stuff?
I think it was like that Nirvana mentality of being like, oh, any old dummy can do this. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of it. Cause
that's pretty much what happened to me.
Yeah. Like, I'm interested in graphic design. I know a ton of bands. Like, I could probably make this
Buttons
happen.
Buttons was so weird because it's so easy. Like, you don't need, like, you can literally grab any image off the internet. Like, 72 dpi, like, who cares? It's a fucking 1-inch button. Yeah. Like, you could steal any image and make anything into a button. Like, you can even take the hole punch thing and like cut a magazine and just be like, oh, it's a button, or cut fabric like a t-shirt, and then you could make it into a button. And it was like, it was such a funny way to get into business. Like, it was such a weird, like, I remember I just bought the button press and like 1,000 parts from, what is it called? Like, it was like Techry or something. Like, they're the ones that make the button maker. I would order parts from them, and I would go to Kinko's and I would get like sheets printed because I couldn't afford the laser printer.
Right.
So I would go there and I would get, like, every other day I would go there with a flash drive, and I'd be like, I need 30 pages of this. I need 20 pages of this. And then I would just go back and I would paper cut them, punch them out, and just sit there and like, ka-chunk, 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 and make buttons all day long.
Oh, dude, and totally.
It was so funny to be like, a band be like, oh, hey, for $40 or whatever, I'll make you 100 buttons, or whatever the cost was. I don't even remember now.
Right.
And you would just sit there and make 100 buttons in like whatever, like half hour, 45 minutes, and you made $40.
Yeah.
And back then it was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, if I could do 10 of these a day, I'm going to make good money. Yeah. So that's pretty much what happened, is we just like slowly rolled into being like, I would work during the day at Sears, and I would go home at night, and I would just like email bands on MySpace, or use the bot and like have that email like 1,000 people a day or whatever. and say, hey, who does your whatever? And then I would get like, 10, 20, 30 orders a day. And it got to the point where Chris was doing high school or doing college, and he wanted extra money to like whatever. So I gave him the button press and the papers like once a week, because he would go to Syracuse, and he would make me all the buttons. So like once a week, he brought me like a box of all the buttons already bagged, all the backs in them. And then I would just mail them out with the post office. So that's where it turned into me just sitting behind a desk being like selling stuff. And
that's awesome.
It got crazy. Like I said, it was so weird that you could do that. And then I got to, it was again, like nowadays as us as business owners with like real adult money, we're like, oh, we could easily buy like an automatic button press. Yeah. Like back then it was like, how could we ever afford an automatic button maker?
I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah. Well, the bigger companies that were making buttons, like that's all they had was like an automatic one where you basically just take the parts and you're just constantly dropping them in, and it's automatically pressing them as it goes around. And it even has a little arm on it where it reaches down and grabs the done button and throws it in a box. And I was just like, I want one of those so badly. I never got one.
Me either. But do you guys still do buttons?
We don't offer it. I have everything. Like I have all the machine and everything. Like when I initially had the button company and then I moved to Georgia, that button company got bought by the company I moved to. They were like, well, we want to buy your company and we want to move you here. So when they bought it, they took all my equipment and everything I had. Like it wasn't much. Like I think I had like 2 or 3 button makers and a couple different sizes, and I had like the name or whatever. Yeah. And then when I started Upstate, I just straight up t-shirts. And then probably 6 years in, I was like, I kind of want to buy a button maker again. And I went through and like did all the templates and made all the pricing. And I was like, oh, we're going to offer buttons. But then I just never did, because I didn't have like a dedicated person to make buttons. Right. And like all this stuff. So we literally have a tote with like all the parts and everything to do buttons. I just don't ever do it anymore.
That's probably smart, because like we do still offer them, but I know that it's dumb. So
it's like it's like heat pressing. I feel like for some people, it's like, who in the shop isn't doing something right now?
Right.
And it's like, hey, do you want to sit here and make, 1,000 buttons for a customer?
And usually the answer is no.
Right. Nobody wants to do that job.
That's why my mom does them.
And you're digitized.
Yeah.
So that's why when you change your wallpaper, you've got to get rid of that button that's on there.
Dude, we're still offering buttons. And the only reason why we do is like, I'm a really not sentimental guy. Like I don't like hang on to stuff for sentimental purposes and stuff like that. But for some reason with the buttons, I'm just kind of like, it's how we got started.
Right.
I would feel bad or something just abandoning them out of nowhere. But what we did do was jack the price.
Right.
So it's still like, it's like $1 a button now, where when I look around at all the other people doing it, it's like 50 cents.
Yeah. Like 40 cents or something.
Or whatever. So it's just kind of like, if you really want them, we'll do them, but you can definitely find them cheaper.
Yeah. I went on your website and I saw you guys offer like a bunch of stuff. You do like enamel pins and buttons and a bunch of promo products. Do you outsource most of that stuff, or are you just doing printing mostly in-house?
Here's the thing is that site is really out of date. And the one thing that is cool is we've got like a super sick site coming up. And a lot of that stuff's not going to be on there. Like the stickers, we don't do them anymore. And promo products, we don't do them any. Like the new site, it's going to launch in like a month. It's not going to have any of that stuff on there. But yeah, I mean, when we were doing it, the stickers were outsourced. The enamel pins still are. Because we're still going to offer those, but pretty much everything else we do now is all done here.
I feel like most people run into that, and I did too, where it was kind of like, all right, I'm in the merch business.
Yeah,
we're printing shirts, we're doing that, we're doing good, but like, why aren't we a sign shop, and why aren't we doing installs, and why aren't we doing stickers and promo products and all this other stuff? And then you finally get to the point where you're like, where we have a lot of these talks with people and they're just like, you know what you got to do. And Drew said this in the last episode, was like, you spend the first 5 years saying yes to everything. And then you spend the next 5 years saying no to everything. And it's like, that's where we're at. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't we just do really awesome screen printing and let everyone else handle the other shit? Like, if you're really good at embroidery, you do embroidery. If you're good at buttons and stickers, like, I will gladly refer people to, like, you know, Sticker Mule. Be like, oh, go to Sticker Mule for stickers. Like, don't even bother. I don't even want to be the middleman. It's not worth me making $20 on, like, referring, like, going through the channels to do it. I'd rather just be like, go here, deal with them. Yeah. Because then when shit goes wrong, right. If shit goes wrong, it's not on me. Like, I didn't fucking make them in the first place. Like, I don't want any blame for that. I don't need more things to be blamed for. So it's nice to just be like, this is what we're doing.
In the book Clockwork, which we're reading right now, Mike talks about sort of like what Drew said, as far as, you know, first 5 years saying yes and then the next 5 saying no. But even more so, he says, like, shift to doing things that you like, you know, like, and if you like doing buttons, then do that. But if you don't like it, like, if you don't like something, and don't even make your team do it, because it's just a miserable job, you know. It's like, so shift the stuff at your shop anyway to doing the things you like, especially as the owner. Like, do the stuff you like, because no, we're only down here once. Might as well do the stuff you like if you can. And because I'm sort of terrible at that, because it seems like I get sucked into doing at least half of my day of stuff I don't really want to be doing. And I have no idea how to get away from some of that, you know. So I'm working on it, but
we had the conversation me and you did the other day on the phone. And I told you that, like, what I really need to do is I need to have a couple days just in my office. And right now it's impossible because of the, you know, person quitting and me having to be out in the shop or whatever else. But, like, I really need a couple days to just sit in here, go over my notes. And, like, I feel like over the last couple episodes, I've really got inspired to just literally be like, give me a list of, like, 5 printers that I don't mind sending work to. Like, people that I know are going to do a good job, someone I actually feel comfortable referring. And if we get any jobs that come to us, which is daily, where it's something that's not, like, streamlined and something we actually want to do. Like, we get people that are like, hey, I want to do these shirts, but I want all the shirts turned inside out. And I want the tags to be, like, gold, when I know full well, like, it's going to bleed through. It's not a good color, or just things that, you know, are going to be a red flag. Anything with red flags, basically. I'm just like, hey, we're like, what I want to say to the customer is, hey, we're really backed up and busy right now, but we know this, you know, a customer or print shop would be really great at this. Then
and you're going to refer away,
right? Basically. Like, if it's somebody who's a customer we've dealt with over and over and over again, yeah, let's take that job, do it, because it's a customer that we know and love. But if it's a new person coming to us, like off Instagram or Facebook or something, that's just like, hey, I need 50 shirts and here's red flag after red flag after red flag. It's like, okay, cool. Like, we're busy, but we'd love to take care of you and send you here. Like, I want to stop taking red flag orders and just do stuff that I know we're going to crush. It's going to go on the schedule nicely. We're going to print it and whatever. Like, we had a job the other day that was like that, where it probably had 5 red flags in it of stuff that we just shouldn't have done, but we said yes to. And it took us like a day and a half to do that order. Like, how much money did we actually make on that order? We probably lost money on that order because it took us so fucking long to do. And it's like, I probably didn't charge accordingly that I should have, knowing it was going to take that much longer. And we probably lost money. It's like, I just want to do the stuff that's, like, makes sense for us. So that's how I feel it is with, like, all these other add-ons of, like, promo products and all this other stuff. Like, if I'm not suited to sit here and know everything about promo products all day long, I'm probably losing money because I'm sitting here trying to figure things out when I could be spending my time focusing on getting better screen printing clients that actually make us more money. So I don't know. That's just one of the things I feel that we really need to instill in the company is just like, don't take it unless it's something we really know we're going to do a good job on.
Yeah, that's great, man. I think that we kind of do the same thing right now, except with the really, really small clients, because at one point our philosophy was kind of take everyone, because it was just the mentality of like, you don't know who they know. This girl who needs one shirt for her friend's bridal shower, whatever the hell. She could be the mayor's daughter or, whatever. And maybe that will lead into this. But then we started to realize that that's clogging us up big time. And at the end of the day, I don't think that getting you this vinyl shirt is a super great product. So now we've got DTG printers when anytime, not us, like in our area, where anybody that comes in that says, hey, I need one shirt for Uncle Willie's retirement party. We're like, oh, you might want to check out our friend because we have a minimum of 10 shirts or whatever.
Right.
So it's been working really well. And I feel like those customers appreciate it a lot. Because usually when they get off their phone, they're like, oh, thank you. Great.
They like it because you're still taking care of them. Like you're still taking the time to give them customer service. You're not just like, nope, sorry, not for us. Boom, hang up the phone. Like you're still helping them out, which is what I want to do. I still want to help them out. And I fully get what you're saying. Like I've literally had like huge opportunities in business from doing like a 12 shirt order for people. Yeah. And I get that. And that sucks, but you need to take that gamble too, of like, literally we're getting the shit end of that every single day. Like we're getting the orders where we don't get a massive order from, and it's taking a lot of time. It's frustrating our employees and everything else, where once a year you might get this like holy shit customer from that doing a tiny order. So I feel like it's not balanced. It's like every day of our lives doing shitty stuff or getting one really good order a year from doing a shitty order. So I feel like I'm just at that point now of like, I'd rather have less headaches and have a really dialed in crew to just like knock out really good orders all day long than to have a crew that's ready to kill me because we keep taking these shit orders. Right. I don't know.
I feel like I've been in that position tons of times where everybody's looking at me like, dude, you knew this would go wrong. You knew. And I'm like, I'm really optimistic. And I'm always like, well, do we really know? They're like, yeah, we know because we've done this 5 times before and it goes to hell every time. I'm like, well, maybe this time it'll be different. Right. And that's for sure. I'm trying to shift out of that mindset.
Well, it's like the thing today too. Like my crew worked today on a Sunday. Like I didn't have to ask them. Like one press worth of crew was like, hey, we want to come in on Sunday. We want to work just to like lighten our load for the week or get some musts out the door or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, come in and work. But I was here too. And I was out in the shop and I was thinking to myself, just like, your wheels are always spinning while you're in the shop. And I was like, I really hope they don't get burnout this week, because we had a talk of like, they're going to come in Sunday. And we're also going to try to work late Monday and Tuesday so that we can get like everything kind of back on track with the schedule, because it's been so crazy. And I feel like everything that's on the schedule right now is like on its day. It should go out, not like a day before or a couple days before. It's all like on the day. So I was thinking about burnout in my head, and I'm like, me as the owner or the sales staff in here, we think of like us doing a good job as in like, we're crushing it. We're bringing in orders. And it's like, these guys in production are looking at it as like, all right, I would plan on my own to come in on a Sunday to like catch up. But I'm thinking in the back of my mind of like, oh, I should hit up that customer to see if they need an order or whatever. And it's like, I'm just making it worse for them by like constantly trying to get new orders in. And they're looking at me like, will you please stop fucking taking orders? Because we need to catch up. Like we need to just shut the faucet off for like a week so that we can get caught up. But then business mind, I'm looking at like, all right, we should hit up this customer or do this or do that or whatever. But I don't know. It was just something that popped into my head today of like, I need to tell people to just like not hit up anybody and just let emails come in and take care of the customers that we already have. Which is what we kind of been doing. It's tough, but like
that's a tough spot to be in, because as the shop owner, you after 3 weeks, after you run out of work, let's say you do shut the faucet off. And I think it's a really difficult balance, because let's say you shut the faucet off, you stop going after orders or taking orders or whatever. And then all of a sudden, instead
I don't want to stop
overtime,
taking orders. I just don't want to hit anybody up. I just want to be like, whatever we normally get that trickles in.
Is that irresponsible though? I mean, because shouldn't we always be going after business, because just as you gain customers and you have new customers, certain customers go away,
Right.
for whatever reason, like your connection at the whatever place, they move on or they move out of state, and now there's a new buyer,
Right.
and so
Karen
you lose.
came in, fucked it
Yeah.
all up.
And so I don't know, is it irresponsible? Because one of your responsibilities is to continue to get work. Otherwise, then you're sending people home. So it's really tough. I mean, I've always struggled with that. Like I have an order next week that I want to push out of next week and say, don't bring it here yet, just so we can get caught up. At the same time, I know that would potentially damage our relationship I have with a company, and so I want to say, of course, bring it here and we'll get it done. But we don't even really have the space for the order. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and so I feel your pain, but I think it would be irresponsible of me to say no to them, at this point, even though we're super busy. So that's a really tough spot to be in, because
there were literally 3 orders that came in over the last 2 days where I don't really deal with a lot of them anymore, but I have customers I've dealt with for years that still email me and want me to handle the order. And they were all like, hey, I've got this show or I've got this thing I got to do. Is there any possible way you can get this to me by like the 25th or whatever? And I know full well next week and the week after and the week after that are like completely booked solid. Like they're just already fucking solid. But I took the order anyway, because I know that they still need that order no matter what. And I don't want them to go to somebody else because they still need that order and they have to get it in, because I don't want them to go to that other guy where that other guy's like sweet talks them and it's like, well, I know you really like Upstate and you really like working with them, but we're willing to get everything to you in 2 days from here on out. Or we're willing to, pop out of the box and give you a hug for every order you place or something. It's just like, I don't want anybody to have the opportunity to be like, we're going to try to one up that other place.
Oh man, I feel the exact same way, because think about it. When those customers come to you that say that exact same thing, that are like, oh, my usual printer can't do it, they're swamped. And you're like, yeah, I can do it. You really try and knock it out.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you always follow up with an email too of like, hey, we really like doing that order for you. If you ever have anything in the future, or my artists are on standby right now to like make you a new cool design, all this other stuff. There's so many things. We've all done it to each other. Like we want that business. That's the game. That's the fucking, the competition. And it's just like, I don't want to ever give anybody the chance to take that swing at us.
Right.
So I took the orders anyway, knowing full well that it's like, fuck, like, how are we going to produce this? Like literally I'm looking at these of like, okay, well, I'll leave work. I'll go home. I'll eat dinner. I'll put the kids to bed. I'll come back. I'll print that order myself just because I want to make sure it gets done and out.
Yeah. Does that cheese off your production team though? Because especially if they're coming in on a Sunday to get ahead and they did that work to get ahead, and then you just clunked up the schedule with more stuff, like the stuff that they got done on Sunday, you just like put it back on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the only way I feel comfortable with it is if I'm doing it myself.
Right.
Like those orders I took, I'm literally probably going to print myself. If I have to print it on the manual or I have to come in late and put it on the auto and print it myself, I'm probably going to do that just so I don't piss anybody off.
Or if not those orders, something else. Like I did because we're so stacked up here, I did on one day last week, we had this 6-color fix. And I just went over to the Cobra over lunch and tore out whatever job they had finished by myself, and then set up the 6-color by myself for one shirt, and then I printed that shirt. And it took, I don't know, 45 minutes or whatever it took, but it was almost an hour of press time, right? That we can't afford right now to do this one shirt. And so that made room for something else. You know what I mean? So maybe you could it doesn't necessarily have to be those actual jobs. It could just be figuring out how to make a press spin, either not during standard production hours. You know what I mean? Just figure it out. That's kind of what my goal has been anyway for a couple of weeks.
Well, it's funny too, because like Friday I was talking with Zach because he was the one that came in and ran the press today. And I was talking to him. He's like, I think I'm just going to come in on Sunday and do this one job. Like there was a job that was like a front and back and both sleeves. And I was like, yeah, that's probably like a day for you to do like that job because it's 4 locations, it's a pain in the ass, whatever. He's like, I think I'm going to do that. I was like, yeah, but you know what makes more sense to me is to do these 8 jobs that are all like 50 piece, one color front, or, 36 pieces, one front, one back, or whatever. I was like, you could knock out these 8 jobs easily on Sunday, or you could do this one job. And he's like, well, wouldn't you rather me get this one job like out of the way? Because it's a bunch of boxes like in the way. I was like, yeah, but this is 7 happy customers versus one customer that I could probably smooth things over with and say you're going to get stuff like a day or 2 later than you would normally would. So to me, I'm looking at it as I'm crossing 7 boxes off my list of like 7 potential angry customers versus one customer that is just a long, big order. So,
dude, I'm so glad that you said that, because I have this talk with everybody at the shop all the time. And that's exactly my thinking as well. Where if there's a whole bunch of even with emails, the way I do things is when I'm looking through all my stuff and this guy's got an email to me that's this long, I'm like, I'm going to move on from this. Oh, I'm going to answer these 30 emails. I'm just going to knock them out. They want to know one quick thing. Boom, I just made 30 people happy. And then after lunch, I'm like, okay, now I'm really going to read through what this guy wants.
Right.
And sometimes that same thing can work beautifully with jobs, man.
Yeah. The thing is that you need to actually make sure you get to those shit orders or those long orders or whatever it is too, because I've done this in the past where before I had an assistant, I was doing the exact same thing. I would go through my inbox every day and I would knock out all the easy ones, but I would just let the other ones sit. I'd be like, oh, I'll get to these later today. And then I didn't. Yeah. And then they went to tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, I'll knock out these easy ones and I'll get these other ones. And then by Friday, you've got an inbox full of just like headache orders that are literally going to take you like 3 days to go through and like actually answer all their questions, get them all their pricing and everything else.
On that note, I remember in college, I had to take writing courses. And so a creative writing is one thing, and you add a lot of words and you're describing things sort of like the stories I tell that Dylan gets really annoyed about is you paint this picture of whatever you're doing. Well, with business writing, it's the opposite of that. And so whenever I write emails, I don't want to be the guy that sends the email that you don't want to read because that you pass over for the easy emails. And so like whenever we wrote for that business class, like, and we turned something in or we showed them, hey, here's my response or whatever, they would say, it was usually like, no, less words, you know what I mean? And so you would reduce it down. That was the goal, is to convey what you're trying to say in as few words as possible. And so whenever we respond to a customer, I always try and keep it simple, like no more than 3 things, always just like 1, 2, 3, do this. It's never like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think I really like that. So don't be that person that goes that email in the inbox that you don't want to read.
Well, the funny thing is too, is that this is something that I've always told my salespeople here, my customer service people or whatever, is like, if you're going to email a prospective new client that you haven't really dealt with a whole lot, make it like 3 lines. Like the email should be like, maybe 3 bullet points or like a quick paragraph or whatever. Don't be that guy who's trying to get business from somebody where you can tell it's super easy copy and paste. Like it's like this long and it's got all these bullet points, got links, it's got fucking pricing in it and everything else. It's like nobody reads that. Like if any of us right now are going through our inbox and we click on something to just preview like what's in the email, like from our phones or whatever, as soon as I see this long, lengthy thing that's got all these bullet points in it, I was like, there's no way this human fucking wrote all this out for me. Like it's definitely copy and paste and just mass send everything. So it's like, there's like huge clients that I've got from just literally sending an email of like 3 sentences. Because they actually took the time to read it, because I wrote out their name and I said something about their company and it was genuine. So I feel like that just popped in my head from what you were saying. It's just like less is more for sure when it comes to that stuff. Like don't hit them over the head with everything you need to know. They'll ask you that later.
Yeah, for sure. Like even when you're writing on a website too, like I was saying, we've got this new site coming up. And every time I write the content for it, usually when I go back to make an edit, all I'm doing is subtracting, taking things away. Right. Like people don't want to go to a website and read this like huge, massive block about why screen printing is cool. Like just bring that down to like two lines and then you got it. Just make sure those 2 lines count.
Right. And that's something that like I've always tried to do with our website is just make it as user friendly as possible. Like literally you got to think if you're the customer, all you want to do is go to this website and be able to like quickly send a contact form or a quote form and place the order. Like you don't want to go through and be like scrolling through. Like, I feel like I haven't even paid attention to what's cool on websites in a while, but I remember the last time I did, it was nothing but like full width, like moving like videos or image after image after image. And like so many people just had like this, like eye candy websites of just like shit blowing up in your face constantly. It was like, dude, my website is like place an order or like, you know, do you want this or this or this? And it immediately takes you to like an order form or a contact form. And there's a pay now button at the top. It's like, that's all they're there for. They're not there to like fucking learn about screen printing. It's fucking Joe Schmo with a band who's like, I need shirts this weekend.
Ricky, what's your goal for your website that you're redesigning? What are you changing to?
We are really trying to get the vibe of the site out there. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to really get across who we are, what we're about, what we're going to do. We're trying to really emphasize what I call our McDonald's mentality, which is trying to do things our way, because in the end, it's going to make the clients the most satisfied. I think that like when you do things in a calculated way that benefits your company and its production, it's for sure going to lead to a happier and more satisfied customer. So like a little bit on this McDonald's thing, for example, when you go there, they don't start you from the ground up and ask you how you want your burger done or anything like that. They say, look at what we have to offer from this curated menu. And this stuff's all been tried and tested, and we believe that it's going to satisfy the largest amount of people. That's basically what we're trying to do. We don't want to offer every service, technique, and product under the custom apparel umbrella. We just want to do what we do best. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier about like kicking out pens and kicking out stickers and all this other crap that we don't, first of all, really make any money on. But like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why stick our big dumb head in the middle of this transaction when we really don't have anything to offer? So yeah, and it's not that we won't print a certain brand of shirt or try this technique. It's just that we have a really clear idea of what we do. And if you let us do it, I'm pretty sure we're going to make you happy. And that's it. So we're just really trying to educate the clients about who we are, what to expect from us. And if you let us do it, how we do it, I think you'll be stoked.
Right. It's the same kind of thing too. Like I think about like Instagram or social media when we have a customer that comes to us and they ask us to do this cool way of printing something or like something we did on a hat, or it was complicated. We figured it out. It's awesome. I think a lot about that of should I even post this? Like, yeah, it's really cool. It came out really good, but I know as soon as I post it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, we're going to get 30 people that are be like, I actually want to do that for my thing. Right. And then I clog the schedule up with, again,
a bunch
something
of
that's difficult.
That you don't even do.
Right. It's like, a lot of times I'm like, I'm not even going to post. Like, I don't even want to say anything about this because I don't want to be flooded with complicated shit. Like, I'd rather post stuff that's like, man, this one color came out really good on, you know, this black ink on white shirts came out perfect.
Yeah.
And then get flooded with people that are just like, oh yeah, I want to do black ink on this. And
oh, dude, absolutely. Big time. That's again, what the website is doing, where all of like it's not a gallery per se, but it's like when you go to screen printing, it's like, here's some of our Eversoft printing, here's some classic printing, here's some retro printing or whatever to show you what it is. But it's none of that stuff that's like way outside of the box. Just like you said, sometimes there's something that's super sick. Like this guy got an insane hat where we pulled off some insane embroidery and then sewed a patch over half of it and all this stuff. Where I'm like, we don't really want to touch that.
You don't want to do 10 of those a day.
No. Yeah. So like, let's not show that. And let's just pretend like it didn't happen. Not in a bad way, just like, moving on.
Right. I think that's something that we all need to like, you know, talk about is we need to just do what we're good at and focus on what we're good at. And
Truly.
I feel like we're all going to be happier. It's one of those things I feel like we learn as being in business for so long that, you know, eventually you're like saying no. You're like, all right, this is not something I'm great at. Let's just do this because this is something that we're really good at. And we'll take cool orders. We'll still do like the 12 color complicated style print because I feel like we're good at that. Like, that's not saying me saying all this isn't saying, yeah, I just want to take like Joe's graduation party, one color prints. That's not what I want to do. I just want to focus on stuff I know we can crush.
Yeah.
Which is, we can still take all this super fun stuff because we know how to do it really well. But to be like,
you're just saying that you don't want to be slowed down. I mean, so orders come to our counter or people call the shop all the time. And I guess that goes along with just saying no, because that's what you've got to do. Because otherwise you shoot yourself in the foot, you know, and you do slow yourself down. And so I like the idea of being very specific, you know. I mean, we already are. I should say we're specific. I want to be very specific.
Right.
So we're sort of in the
like stupid stuff. Like, I mean, Sarah will grab me every once in a while, or Brian or whatever. She'll have a customer that sends us artwork where it's like, we know a chunk of it is going to be complicated, or it's something that shouldn't be screen printed. You know what I mean? Like, the rest of the design looks fine, but then there's this like pocket watch coming out of a flame that's got like fucking 900 shadows on it. And it's this big. And it's like, we look at it as like, yeah, we could probably do it. Like, if we did this and did this and did this, and what we really should do is just be like, let's not take that order, because I know it's going to take Brian's going to fuss over it in the art department for hours to make sure that 1/4 inch size fucking thing is going to look good. And then when it gets on press, we're going to try to print it and be like, I don't like the shading on this. Let's change the color out for this. And then it's like hours stack up over hours to just try to do this one job where we should have just said fucking no in the first place.
Right.
And it's like, that's what I'm talking about. It's not like no to this, no to this. It's like, if we see something where we're like, it's immediately a red flag, let's just like evaluate it real quick and be like, should we actually take this?
Yeah,
Love it.
That's pretty much what it was with that we were talking about earlier, with the guys in the back being like, why did we take this job?
Right.
That's the exact scenario where it's like, well, I thought maybe this artwork was a little different, so it'd probably work out beautifully. It's like, no, you know that's going to suck. It's this big.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to say no, though, dude.
I know.
So I have a question. We just overhauled our pricing, and I did it 3 times since maybe, I don't know, 2 months ago. Mainly in the minimums. And so we're bumping the minimums up every time. We're also discontinuing a few of our services and becoming more specific, like sort of like we're talking about. But one of the things that I'm stuck on, and I wanted to ask you what you did at your shops, is when it comes to resizes. So let's say somebody places an order for 50 shirts and they have their size run, right? But then they also have 10 youth smalls or something that they want. And what do you do? It used to be that we charged for a resize. So we'd say, okay, fine. It's we're going to resize this for you, and it's $20 per color. So if it were one color, that'd be $20, and then that would be an additional cost on your invoice. But the shirts were all the same price still. But now I have rethought this, because resizes sort of kill us, especially when it comes to hoodies. Let's say, you know, you're running an order and, oh, by the way, I want, you know, let's say they're getting 100 t-shirts and, oh, by the way, I want 20 hoodies. Well, obviously hoodies have the pocket on the front. And so you have to make it shorter. And so I've decided to, instead of do it like that, just because what we do is, you know, obviously make new screens, I'm calling it a new order. And we have a minimum. And so our minimum right now is 25 pieces. And so if you want to resize, if you want your 50 shirts or whatever it is, but you also want 10 youth smalls, the answer is going to be no, because we have a 25 piece minimum. I'm a little bit scared of that, though.
That's what we do.
What do you do?
We make it a separate order.
And there's a minimum?
Like we had a customer the other day that did that, where they basically wanted, you know, like they wanted 100 of 3 different designs, but they wanted, small, medium, and large to be one size print. And then they wanted XL, 2X, 3X, 4X, whatever, to be like 2 inches bigger. And we were just like, okay, well, your small through large is going to be one order. And then your
one order,
XL
you mean, is
through
priced
2X.
at the quantity.
It's priced at that quantity that it is. So if they said they wanted 100 shirts, but 50 were these sizes and 50 were these sizes, okay, well, you just placed 2 50-piece orders.
Exactly. That's what I just changed to.
That's what we've been doing. So again, if we get someone who wants a bunch of youth pieces and a bunch of adult pieces, and it's two, as long as if the artwork isn't the same screen, like if you need separate screens for whatever, it's a separate order. Like your artwork could look exactly the same, but it's an inch smaller. To us, artwork is out the window. Like it's a different screen. It's a whole different thing. It's set up differently. It's its own thing. It's its own order.
Ricky, what do you do in this instance?
Exactly that. So if you need to, just say you wanted to do 5 youth hoodies, but our minimum's 10, it's like, you got to get 10. And then just like what Dilly said, just charge them like we would charge it as a separate order. And
right. Like a 10-piece order.
Yeah.
And do you get pushback from that sort of thing? I mean, what are the responses? Like, well, I don't need 10.
There's 2 options. They either say, okay, cool, I'll get 10, or they just don't get those youth sizes.
Right. But I hear what you're saying, Andy, because like so much, like every time I listen to the podcast, when it comes to dealing with customers, all the stuff that you say is the stuff that I do all the time, where like I fold so easily. Like just say somebody wanted 5 youth hoodies, but our minimum's 10, but they're giving me grief. I'll probably be like, all right, dude, we'll do 5. So, I mean, we try and set that precedence of like, no, it's got to be 10. But if it's a customer that's really great to us, or their order's big and I want them to be happy or whatever, we kind of like let those things slide. But those rules are in place to try and make them happen.
Exactly. I think that, Dylan was talking about earlier, and you even said like, like production, do they give you cheese for taking those additional orders? Like my production manager is going to say to me, so like, let's say we do change to this where if you want to resize, then you have to meet the minimum. But I do what you just said. And I was like, oh, well, you're ordering a ton of stuff, and fine, I'll do these 5 hoodies, because, and as a business owner in your mind, like you have room in that bigger order. Like you want that bigger order. So you'll do this smaller order. But then all of a sudden it breaks a rule, right? Our rule is this minimum. It ends up in our production lineup, and the production manager says, I've got to make however many more screens for this, but it's breaking the rule, of it didn't meet our minimum. And so that's where sometimes I guess maybe he or a production manager, any production manager, he or she could get frustrated because you're breaking a rule. And I think it's important for them to understand how the front works sometimes. Like it's not always black and white. There's going to have to be there will have to be some instances where you're going to make somebody happy, and you, like you said, though, your goal is just to minimize that, I suppose.
For sure. And there's other like rules that we simply won't break, because in my mind, certain rules are more important than others. Where like at the end of the day, if we've got to make a screen for 10 tees or hoodies and we only do 5, I mean, like that's not a crazy rule break. But one of the rules that we like, I don't think we would break for anything unless, we're doing Kanye's new stuff and he wants 5 of a 6-color print. Okay, maybe we would then, but the rule that is a lot more important is the color count. So if, like for 10 tees, we'll only do 2 colors max.
Right.
And then at 25, we'll only do 3 colors max. And then at 50, the floodgates open, you can do as many as you want. So if somebody's order was 50 tees that are 6 color and they want those 10 youth hoodies, it would be like, no can do, buddy. Like we could put it on the back, or we could make your logo a 1 color, or we could take the left chest that you're doing on your other tee and put that on the front in 1 color. Like we'd try and come up with a new scenario that could work, because that color count is the thing. That's what kills us the most. I mean, throwing up a 1 color, that ain't no thing.
Right.
It's when you got to make 6 new screens. Then it's like, dude, I can't.
Yeah. I like the idea we remember, or we sometimes remember to say, hey, we can throw it on the back of the hoodie. But I also like the idea of up front anyway, is to say, well, no, you can't do a youth hoodie. Youth hoodies are terrible. Why don't we do a crew neck sweatshirt instead or something like that? Because hoodies, a youth hoodie, you just don't have a whole lot of room. There's going to be a
what you got to do is you just got to tell them your kid's going to grow. Just get him an adult small. Like he'll grow into it. Suck it up. If anything, we're doing you a favor. Think of how long the longevity of this item, because this kid can wear it for so much longer now, because, you know, inevitably he's going to be a fat piece of shit and he's going to need that small.
Well, I want to put a rule in place that we do switch them. Like there aren't any youth hoodies. We do switch to like a crew neck sweatshirt, and you can get the size that your kid is. But we're talking about human beings up front, and we're going to forget sometimes. We're going to take an order, you know, like for hoodies or for whatever, and we're going to write down youth medium 5 or whatever, and that's going to screw the whole order.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then what do you do? Call the customer back and say, oh, you know, when you were in the shop and we said we could do these 5 youth mediums, well, actually we
you
can't.
have to print them at that point.
Exactly. At that point, you got to do it.
I feel like as soon as you make an invoice and you send it to the customer and they pay and you realize you fucked something up at that point, it's on you to do it. Like you have to do it. And we run into that all the time. Like there's certain things where it's just like, you know, we mocked it up as like, actually there was, you know, it was a 2-color because there was this tiny little area that had color in it. We mocked it up that way, even though we charged them a 1 color and everything. We found out in the end, when it got to the art department, that it was a 2-color. I'm like, all right, well, we're printing it as a 2-color. There's no question here. Like we already went through the channels with the customer and everything. Like we're printing it as is.
Even if you sent them an invoice and they prepaid and the invoice says 1 color and you mocked it up 2-color, you still...
If we didn't take the time to pull up the actual artwork and look at it and not just try to quickly make a mock-up to send out to the customer and do the whole thing, we're doing it the way, because we were lazy and didn't do it the right way the first time. If anything is at fault on our end, I want to take care of it. Like I'm taking care of it. And that's the rule we've made with everything. Like if we didn't send the customer a perfect mock-up with all the Pantones in it and anything, and they come back and debate us on something that we were just lazy and didn't do, it's our fault. We're fixing it. Like there's no question. That was the big discussion that me and Sarah had a couple of months ago. And she's like, well, you know, customers call and they complain about this or whatever. Like at what point do I tell them to fuck off? Basically. I'm like, well, you can tell them to fuck off if like we did 100% to the T, everything on our end and it's correct. And they're just being dicks about it. Or if there's anything at fault in there, you're automatically telling the customer, hey, sorry about that. It's on us. It's our fault. And we fix it. That's the line. Like there's no debating anymore. If we fucked up in any way, we're fixing it. If we didn't fuck up at all and they're just dicks, then sorry. No cookies, no fixies. Go to Shirt Kong. He'll do it for you no matter what.
Dude, I believe that a lot as well. Although I am super soft, and this is kind of what I was saying about Andy earlier, is like, you know, if somebody is crying hard enough, you're probably going to tug on old Rickshaw's heartstrings and make me do something I don't want to do. But yeah, I believe that too. And what we always talk about when we're doing an order is we're trying to, and this in the most non-negative way, we're trying to make it a fuck you order. And by that, I mean, everything is spot on, perfect, exactly what we said we would, so that if there is some sort of discrepancy, it's like, well, we did exactly what we said we were going to do. Like, exactly. So I'm not sure what footing you have to stand on right now. I would never say it like this. And
we don't want to tell the customer that, but we want it to be ironclad on our end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So,
but again, if I probably would fix it if you're crying hard enough.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So you go out to eat and Dylan orders his beef tips and they set it.
Beef tips.
Who orders beef tips, Andy?
I thought okay, Dylan, you order your wings. Okay,
I order a 24-ounce sirloin, medium well, with mashed potatoes and gravy and a Caesar salad.
Medium well,
cool.
Not medium well. Sorry, medium.
Okay.
So hold on. This illustrates the point perfectly. So they bring that to the table,
and it's medium well.
He said it.
Yeah. So But my point here, my example here is that you order something in a restaurant, they bring it out, and you don't like the way it tastes. Okay, the mashed potatoes have too much garlic, according to you, and you say, "Look, I really don't like these mashed potatoes." Are they going to say, "Fuck you"? We made it just like our recipe says.
No, see,
If
what
went
you
to
should
Bill's
have done,
restaurant, you might.
the way this should have gone is if you're saying that I just don't like something on the menu because it has too much of something in it or whatever, that's my fucking problem because it's the way you make it and it's the way the mashed potatoes here are made. Like if I don't like it, then don't eat it and don't come back or whatever. But exactly what Ricky was saying is I accidentally said medium well when what I really wanted was medium. If I said medium well and they made it and brought it back medium well, and I said, oh, fuck, I fucked up. I should have said medium, but is there any way you could get me another steak? That place has full right to tell me to fuck off because they wrote down and showed
But
that
guess
I wanted it medium well.
Guess what? They're not doing that. They're going to make you a new steak.
No way. Totally.
They're going to make you a new steak.
I know, but I'm saying this isn't a restaurant.
No, maybe
with a
they have the
steak.
right. We're not arguing about who has the right, or we're not debating the fact that you don't have the right, or the restaurant doesn't have the right to say,
But
"Hey,
the thing is,
the thing is, they're going to make you happy. They're going to make you happy.
The point of it is, though, is that restaurant doesn't want to. They want to take it in the back and they want to fucking come all over that steak because they think you're a dickhead for asking them for another steak. But the only reason why they're making you another steak is because shit like Yelp exists. They don't want you to go home and smear them all across the internet and say, they made me this fucking gross ass steak. I clearly asked them for a medium rare steak and they made me a well done steak. Fuck this place. Don't ever go there. That's why they're making you another steak, is because they're terrified of the internet and the way people are.
Well,
not because they want to make you happy.
I think while that's true, they actually do want to make you happy because before
they want to do is they want to grab a bunch of pubes and put them all over your fucking meal because you're an asshole. Before
Yelp, there was your friends or your family or whoever that you tell like, hey, I order medium rare and they bring me medium well. That place sucks. And so you tell people about it. And so their job, they're a hospitality industry. And
there's a reason why I don't have a fucking restaurant.
But you have a screen printing company and it could be the same thing. I mean, I'm just saying like you could use that analogy in the same way.
I just feel like it doesn't hurt as bad to be like, okay, I ate $5 on this steak when we're dealing with a customer who just spent $3,000 on an order. And because the green didn't match the green in their truck that they magically never told us about, I'm supposed to eat $3,000 and reprint it and ship it again and pay my guys to do the whole thing. Fuck that. I'm not doing it if you didn't do everything on your end you should have done.
Dude, this green truck guy is really pissing you off.
Dude, I'm so fucking bitter about it.
Talk about this.
I'm so bitter about it.
I think he might have used purple last time or something.
I don't even know what it is anymore. That's
I don't know, but this green truck guy, that truck, I hope it flies off a cliff. I don't want him to get hurt.
The funny thing is that this green truck guy is a ton of people. It's not just one customer. It's that customer who comes in.
It's one. You keep bringing up this guy.
It is. It truly is. The one that pisses me off the most was this super small like brewery that came in and clearly looked at the shirts in the light. Like literally our front door is all glass. Sun's fucking beaming through the door. Dude pulls up the shirt, is like, yeah, they look great. Puts them back in a box, drives to his place and immediately emails us and is like, this is totally the wrong green. I think these look like garbage, all this other stuff. And he's like, and then we were like, we saw you open them and look at them and talk to the lady at the front desk and say, these look great. And he was like, well, I was in like a really dimly lit area where there was no light. And I was like, dude, you were literally standing less than a foot from a full pane of glass in the sun. Yeah. Like, don't fucking lie to me. It's because he didn't have the
truck right beside it to compare it.
Right. He couldn't compare the green to his truck. And it was just a fucking nightmare. And it's just like, I want to fight them. Like, I don't want to just bend over for people like that because I feel like that's just the way that's going on with culture right now with everything. People whine hard enough, they get whatever they want. It's like when we were kids and we whined hard enough, we got beat until we stopped whining. Like, I just hate that people can whine over and over and get what they want. It's annoying.
I think it's one thing to fix it once, when something goes wrong. But if that customer comes back and they have an issue and it's over and over, well, of course, you're not going to continue to help this customer like, let's say they're unhappy every single time they come and pick up an order. Of course, you're not going to do that. I'm talking about, I think that everyone, and my philosophy is that I will fix it almost anything once, like the first time. And then if it happens again, well, that's weird.
I'm gonna concede and say I get that, and I've definitely done that, and I do that all the time. Where like somebody they're not necessarily whining and being a dickhead, but they're just like, hey, I'm really not happy with this. Like they're being nice about it. They're just like, I'm really not happy with this order. I really would like to do this other thing. I'm always like, all right, well, let me do whatever I can to help you out, even if it's just at cost. And I do that all the time. Somebody's just, they fucked up on their end, or they forgot to add something to the artwork, or they did their phone number wrong. I'm like, we'll print the whole thing for free. You just have to buy the blanks at cost. Like, I just don't want to eat the blanks of the shipping. Let's do that. And we'll do that a ton. But if somebody just immediately comes hot on the phone and is just like, fuck you guys, fix my shit, or I'm going to fucking like say bad shit about you on the internet, I'm just like, here's a full refund. Go fuck yourself. Like, don't come back here. Not, okay, we'll fix it. Sorry. And then like do this a couple times.
Well, technically you did fix it, because if you gave them a refund, now it's up to them to go choose a different screen printer who's probably going to do the same thing or do a worse job. Get angry about. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, technically that's fixing it by being like, all right, dude, here's all your cash back. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, I feel like we really have the mentality where we really want everyone to be happy. And this is like all the people that work here, all of our customers, like we truly, it's like my goal that everybody is stoked and happy. So when it really comes down to these orders, if that's what it takes to make this person happy, I'll probably do it. Like Andy said, one time for sure. But if we did everything right, I might try and press the issue a little bit, being like, look, dude, your shirt right beside the mock we sent you, it's spot on. Like the time, and we like reiterate to the clients all the time, like, if there's a problem with your mock, tell us now. Right. Like, this is the most crucial moment in your order, is reviewing this paperwork and looking at this mock-up. Because if there is anything at all wrong with any of this stuff, let us know now, because now we can actually do something about it. And I think it's the best way to try and put out a fire before it even starts. Yeah. It's kind of the reason why we do the mocks the way that we do, where we used to do them, where you would send in your artwork and just say your artwork was total bullshit. We would put it on the mock-up, have you approve it, and then deal with your art afterwards. But in those instances, there's always little things that change. Right. Or these little things. And it's almost like putting a little kindling on a future fire that's going to happen.
Right. 100%.
So all of our, like, we always say that the heroes of the art department at Presstime are the mock artists, because they're the ones doing a whole bunch of work. Like, when you send us artwork, just say it's not vector, we go through the trouble of turning it into a vector image to be on that mock-up, because the separation artist, when it's time for him to do his job, he takes that artwork directly from the mock, reads the mock, oh, it's supposed to be 12 inches wide or whatever it is, and boom, there's no way it could be wrong according to what you've approved, because it's literally the vector taken from there. Right. Then the step was done. The only time it sucks is when you have these orders that are not approved. You know, when you send out a quote and then buddy ghosts you or whatever, that sucks. But it really helps us avoid those minor discrepancies.
And that's the same way we were, like, I probably for the first like 5-6 years is we just did what we didn't know any better at the time. And it was a bottleneck, and we got over it. We would take the customer's artwork and we would just put like 2 t-shirts, like a black t-shirt, like a front and back next to each other. And we would throw the artwork on it and be like, oh, does this look good? And they're like, yeah, it looks good. No details, no nothing. It was just literally like a picture of a mock-up of a t-shirt. Right. And they'd be like, looks good. And we kept getting orders where it was like people would nitpick stuff. They'd be like, I don't like the size. I don't like the color. I don't like this. I don't like this. And we were reprinting stuff left and right. And I was like, I am eating so much money and redoing shit. So one weekend I came in, I made a whole mock-up form that was like, okay, here's the actual mock-up. Here's like all the Pantones that consist of what we printed. And here's notes that say 2.5 inches down on the front and 5 inches down on the back. And placement is this. And any notes about the order were like on this one form. And I made it all like editable for anybody here in the office. And from then on, it was like, this is what we're doing and whatever. Like 99% of all issues we had were gone. Like so many people, like we had so many more orders that just didn't have issues or redoing things because the customer had no, like, it's not like we were trying to trick them. They just had nothing to complain about because we literally gave them everything they should know about the order on the mockup form. And it was like, there's no arguing it.
And our goal with our mockup is to reduce the amount of mistakes as much as possible, but we'll still fix it. Right. I mean, if they approve something, I mean, it happens, you know, they approve something on their phone and they don't see a detail or whatever. And they say, oh, I wanted this. Then we just do it. We fix it still.
There was an order we did last week. It does
help for sure.
There was an order we did. It was like, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago or whatever, and it's funny, I actually posted it on my Instagram because I liked how it looked, where it was like a dude on a motorcycle. And it was like, I don't know, like a 3 or 4 color print. And the mock-up and everything said cream colored ink when the skeleton and everything that was riding the motorcycle was all like this, like off-white cream color. And we did the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, it looks great. Mock-up says cream, everything, sent it out, did the whole thing. Customer gets it. And he's like, why are these like yellow cream? He's like, you can look at the mock-up and like the skeleton's white because on the mock-up, looking at it, it looks white. But if you look at the actual artwork, like in the artwork file, it's an off-white color, but the mock-up looks white. So he was like, these are supposed to be white. And I was like, if you look at the shirt printed and you look at the mock-up, it's not the same. Like the actual shirt looks like an off cream yellow color.
Like
and the
bone
actual
color?
mock-up looks right. And the mock-up looks white. And I redid the whole order. I was like, you're right. Like the shirts don't look like the mock-up. Like, even though in the notes it says cream, our job as the printer is to make sure that the print looks exactly like what we showed the customer on the mock-up. So that I looked at, that's our fault. Like the salesperson should have looked at that shirt and been like, this is cream colored, but it doesn't look like the mock-up. We need to like make it very, very, very close to white, off-white if we're going to do it.
That's tough sometimes, really.
Right. But I mean, you could tell, like looking at it, you're like, yeah, you're right. This doesn't look anything like the mock-up. Like this is more yellow than cream. It was done incorrectly. And I just reprinted the whole order.
I feel like you fixed that and you probably put some of your pubes on it or something.
Oh, I sprinkled. I draw dicks in the artwork. I sprinkle pubes. Like I sneeze on everything.
I would never send a shirt order back at your shop. That's for sure.
Right. It gets fucking annihilated.
I have another question. So we printed an order last week, and for the larges in that order, there were only 10. We substituted jerseys. So they were Gildan, navy hoodies, and I think it was that she couldn't find jerseys. Sorry, Gildan in large, and so she subbed jerseys.
And let me guess, the customer called back and said, jerseys are nowhere near the quality of a Gildan. These are trash.
Exactly those words.
I fucking get that all the time.
And also that tone. But yes, hold on, but time out. I have a little bit more to say about that.
There's a fire burning in me right now.
We decided at first with all the substitution stuff, we would say, oh shit, there's no larges. Let's call the customer, leave the stuff in the cart, call the customer. Hey, can we sub jerseys for Gildan? Well, sometimes you call a customer and they don't answer the phone, and hours go by and the shirts you want to sub are actually now gone too. And so we said, this is way hard. It's taking us way longer. And also sometimes we're not even able to get the shirts we want to sub with. And so let's just buy the shirts. Let's stop this nonsense of asking if it's okay.
Hold on,
and
Andy.
Up front,
I got to pause your story. Ricky, what are you drinking?
Just for you.
Oh God, it's Pure Leaf, you son of a bitch.
Did I fuck up?
You need Gold Peak.
Oh, dude.
Oh, you're drinking the enemy right now.
I thought you drank Pure Leaf. I'm not even kidding.
We did until they fucking banned us.
What? They wouldn't sponsor you?
No, they told us, they just fucking straight up were rude and said no. We don't want anything to do with your bullshit, petty little show.
That ain't right.
No, exactly. And
That's
so
wrong.
we switched over to Gold Peak.
Oh, dude.
But you know who's given us the most
I went and
love
got it.
is Tavana or Tiava, whatever that's called. They've given us
What is
It's
that?
tea.
Pink sugar?
No, it's just another tea brand. They're actually talking to us, which is
Why don't you
funny.
chug their stuff then, buddy?
I have it. I have it in the fridge. I just, I prefer trashy Gold Peak.
I've honestly never even heard of Gold Peak before.
They might not have it there. Where were we, Andy? Were we in Chicago and I couldn't find it anywhere? Remember we kept going to gas stations trying to get it?
No, they couldn't find. Yeah, right.
couldn't find Gold Peak.
So you had to get Pure Leaf.
Yeah.
You guys got all the sick stuff. Sorry, not to get off task, but America, you guys just got all the sick stuff. I mean, you
We have
guys
a lot
are
of
the-
other shit too.
That's true, but you guys are the kings of trash food. You know what I mean? All the fast food, all the cereal selections, and like you guys have got like 5 different O. Henrys. What? We just got your classic O. Henry here.
All right, Andy, I'm sorry I interrupted your story. Go
That's
back.
probably better. I think I'm going to move to Canada. I like that better.
Less options.
Too many choices. Yeah. What was I? Okay. So I was talking about subbing, and
I thought you were talking about pubes.
Well, we can get into that too if you want.
Sorry, I kid.
Dylan, every time I look at your hat, it's camo, and look up just a little bit, and it looks like that's hair. Like you have a hair swoosh going over. the
I
side.
know.
Yeah.
I promise you, I have no hair.
Okay. I was talking about how that's exactly what happened. We subbed 10. We decided to just start subbing without calling the customer. We subbed 10 of the jerseys. They called back and said, we're going through our order and we hate jerseys. And so they said, but you know what? And I explained what's going on. I said, just
They don't
supply
give a fuck.
disruption and all this stuff. It's been a customer for a while. And they said, I get it. I don't want to make you reprint these 10. I'm cool with them. We'll keep them. It's fine. And I felt bad. Here we go. And so I said, you know what? Here, listen, I'm just going to give you a credit on your account. Next time it's you buy some here, you can use it. And so I want to say it wasn't like the full price of the hoodies. It was probably like $50. I think that's what we did. We did a $50 credit. And she said, oh, thank you. Like she wasn't going to make us reprint them, but she also appreciated the fact that she doesn't really like the jerseys, and we gave her a credit. So my question to you was, how are you guys dealing with subbing? Are you just telling everybody up front, hey, we'll take your 100 shirt order for Navy Gildans, but there may be subs. We don't know what they are, or are you calling them when you have to sub?
Ricky, you go first.
We're trying to get ahead of it a little bit. So these days, obviously, with everything being all frigged up with the shipping and everything, we check every single order if it's not something we already have in stock. And the only things we keep in stock are a couple different black hoodies, 2 or 3 different black tees is pretty much all we keep in stock. So if it's not in that, then we go and check. And like lots of times somebody will be like, oh, I want Heather Cardinal Gildan soft style tees, but no one's got them. So then we try and sell them Heather Maroon instead. So we're trying to get ahead of it that way, but it does still come up here or there. Like that exact same thing happened to us last week, Andy, where we did an order. It was not a big one. I think it was 50 pieces, 1 color front, and 1 hoodie. Because this was one of those orders where they got, like 5 maroon hoodies, and then they got, 5 black t-shirts, and they mixed it all up, but it was the same print on everything. And then that 1 hoodie, it was a Gildan hoodie that normally we are doing ATC stuff from Samar for all of her stuff, but we had to do that 1 hoodie. And she's like, this just like isn't up to snuff. This hoodie just sucks. I'm sorry. And for that, it was exactly what you said. It was like, all right, can you keep it? Do you think you could sell it to your customers still? She's like, I probably could. And I'm like, okay, well, that is stricken, or here's your credit. And that's exactly what I did.
So
honestly,
you didn't reprint
dude,
it. Yeah.
No, yeah, we got away with not reprinting, but I did give her the money back on it. And yeah, dude, like truly, when it comes to custies, usually all the stuff you're saying, no offense, Dilly, because I love you, dog. I get it. I usually agree with you wholeheartedly on that stuff. So I probably would have did exactly what you done.
Like I said, the truth of it is the truth of it is a lot of times I'm a big softie too, but like in my heart as a human, in my soul, I hate you for it.
Yeah.
Just gonna be honest with you. Like, I think you're a fucking piece of shit and I'll fix it, but I hate you.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, at the end of the day here, like, yes, it is true what we're doing. And I know for a fact that the three of us take what we do extremely seriously. We want our custies to be happy. We want everything to be cool. But on the other hand of things, the thing that lets me sleep at night sometimes is just knowing that we're not doing, rocket brain surgery here. We're just making teas. Right. And like 1 or 10 different hoodies shouldn't really like ruin your whole week here. You know what I'm saying? Like there's bigger things in life to really cry about, I think.
Right. Well, let's change gears a little bit here while you're talking about being a softie and being a helpful human being. You guys do a toy drive for Christmas.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Okay. So Christmas.
I've thought about doing it before, but like I'm in a small town and I don't think I would get that many people to like actually stop by and drop stuff off.
You never know, man. With the internet age, a whole bunch of people would be sending you Amazon toys, I bet.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, honestly, we just like want to help as many people as we can. And when kids get a raw deal, it always makes me sad.
Oh yeah.
Because, sure. Like adults, they're in control of what they do and don't do, where I don't know if it hurts me when the kids don't. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. We didn't do it last year because of COVID. We were like, I don't know how this is going to work, but literally we just, we put it out there and usually it's huge, man. The one year we did an open house with it at the same time, we got like bins and bins of toys. It was a huge success.
So what are you doing when you get the toys? Like, how do you know who to distribute it to?
We just walk around to kids that we see on the street and we just give them a toy and
just random kids in the town. Just be like, hey, here. They're coming back with glasses on and different hats and like different hoodies on.
Yeah. Like when you figured out that this house gives away full chocolate bars at Halloween, you're like, okay, I'm going to wear your mask now. No, there's like a company, or not a company, like an organization that they distribute all the stuff to the kids, or like they'll, like put it with certain families. And we do that as well. We always sponsor one family at Christmas. So it'll be like this family has 3 kids, one, like a boy and a girl and a boy that are 6, 8, and 9. This kid likes Marvel stuff. The girl likes crafts. And then you just go try and buy stuff that you think they would like. And then that company just gives it to them, and that's that. And then you also buy a bunch of food so that the parents can make Christmas dinner.
Right. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it this year.
Dude, it's not tough. Honestly.
No, I think I could pull it off.
Just put it out there and people, they'll hook it up.
I just more need to find an organization to give the toys out. You know what I mean? I feel like there's certain people that take advantage of that kind of scenario. Where they're just like, sign me up for this thing so I get my kids free toys, when there's people who actually like need it that are too proud.
Think of that.
You know what I mean? I've dealt with that before because I was in Rotary and we did something similar where our biggest argument was there were so many freeloading people that were just like every year they're like, oh, I sign up for this thing so that I can like get free toys for my kids and I don't have to buy them toys and I can spend all my money on beer. It's
dude,
like
that's low.
There's families like that, dude, like straight up. And then there's people that actually need those toys for their kids, but they're too prideful and they won't like come, they won't sign up. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like the best way to go about it was to like go to like a local church or whatever and just ask them, be like, what families do you know that are like actually hurting? Or like, if there's an anonymous list of like, recommend a family that actually needs stuff.
Well, I mean, one thing is like that thought that you had at the beginning where some people are cheating the system and all that, you're probably 100% right. But I try not to think about it in like such a I don't mean it in a bad way, but I try not to think about it.
I get it. Yeah.
Like in a
but the
cynical way.
the truth of it
It's
is
just like,
those
hopefully
kids,
this all goes where it needs to.
their parents are assholes, but those kids still need toys regardless. Like they're still kids and they're still getting a raw deal. So
yeah. And we don't want that.
Right.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Andy.
Do you want to do a listener question?
Yeah, sure.
I've got a good one.
Okay.
So this question comes from Gabe at Maybe Tomorrow. And he asks,
love you, Gabe.
So there's something happening. Yeah. Hey, Gabe. He says there's something happening in shops, including, do you know Gabe? No. Yeah. He's in New York. He's not far from you. Yeah. You do know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's eating all that good pie. That NYC pie, baby. Mm-hmm. I love it so much.
All right.
Sorry,
Gabe's
Gabe.
question.
What's your question, Gabe?
He says, shops, including myself, are starting to fly other shops' press operators in on the weekend at a high hourly rate because it's impossible to find people to work in certain locations. I just flew my old embroidery guy in for 2 weeks, paid his flight plus $20 an hour and flight home to sew out 3,000 pieces so I could keep the presses running. Have you guys done this or would you consider it? So what are your thoughts?
You answer that one.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it and I haven't done it yet. Would I fly somebody in here to print? I think that I like it for the reason of I don't want my team to burn out. And so if somebody wants to come in and print here, I would be okay with that. I think that it would be tough at first because, they're not trained to your ways. You don't know how they're going to print unless you know them, I suppose. And so that first one might be rough and a little awkward. Like, hey, here's how we print and here's our machines. Here are our methods. But, hopefully, I guess the first time they come in and they're good, and then you would know and you can bring them back if you want that. But otherwise, I think it'd be kind of tough. I would say that I would have to be pretty desperate, I think, to actually do it. And I don't plan on doing it, but we would have to be even more backed up than we are now. So that's my answer. Who's next?
Yeah, I feel the same way. And we talked about this the other day because you were saying that he was talking about that. And I feel like his scenario was different because you didn't mention this before, that it was somebody that worked for him before. That is at another shop now. Was that the case?
Oh, right. Yeah. So he said he flew his old embroidery guy in.
Yeah. I feel like that's a different story. Like if I was just Greg's listing printers and I was like, oh, you know how to screen print? Let me fly you out here for a weekend and let you print. That would be a different story. Or if it was like someone I knew really well, where if it was like, okay, a printer at this shop I respect or whatever, and like flew them out on the weekend, but still it's like, they're going to have to get used to our press or get used to our inks or mixing system.
Just your whole system. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like that would be weird. I feel like
would you rather contract a job out or have somebody come in and print at your shop?
I'd rather contract it out.
Me too. 100%. I can't.
It's going to be way cheaper too.
Oh yeah, dude. I've never once even considered this idea. I've never even heard of it. It's never entered my brain before. It seems crazy.
I feel like it's smart for Gabe though, because if it's somebody that he knew was a really good operator, and he was like, sense. Hey dude, you want to come in and he doesn't even have to be there. He's like, hey, this place, everything we do, just come in for the weekend and knock out all this shit.
Yeah, that's different.
Like, hell yeah, let's do this. But if I had someone fly in, I feel like I would have to be here and babysit them the entire time. Which would defeat the purpose of it. I might as well just do it myself.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'd way rather contract that job. I mean, or if it was somebody that, like you were saying, Dilly, somebody and trust or whatever, like if you guys were like, hey, I want to come down and run the presses all weekend, I'd be like, that's probably going to be fine.
Right.
And I'd probably be cool with that. But on the other hand, I feel like the crew would rather
just
make more money, weekend. Maybe. Yeah. Or something. Like it seems like way more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems weird. My answer is probably not.
My answer is probably not.
My answer is probably not.
Okay.
Sorry, cool. Gabe.
But But it could, I mean, I don't know.
I feel
think
like in
it would
Gabe's
make-
case, it's different because it's somebody who already worked there and they can just be like, hey, come in for the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the only time it makes sense is that if that's what that person does, is that they fly around the country to different shops and print stuff,
Well, I could say like Ryan or Matt Marcotte or whatever. I trust them. I'd be like, hey, and I even thought of that when Randy left, was to just be like, hey, not that they could, but like, Ryan, hey, do you have a free week? Like, do you want to come here and just crush jobs for me? So that I can get back to being okay. Like, I might do that because I trust them.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a different story.
Who's Ryan? I know who Marcotte is. But
Ryan Kasparian, we've had him on here a couple times. He's a consultant now.
Is he the Denver print house guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. He used to be the shop manager there. Andy, do you want to do Ricky, do you have questions for us?
I got a plethora.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it.
The one, I don't want to go too deep down this road unless you guys do, but the one thing you said like 10 minutes ago, Andy, that this is something that I've always been trying to figure out. No clue how. And I want to know how you did it on that order. Remember when you said that you credited that customer $50?
Mm-hmm.
And you credit it on their account. How? Like what? How do you do it? Because there's been times before too where I'm like, oh, dude, next time, $100 off your order for whatever, any reason. But usually that order comes up, and then he's like, hey, Ricky, remember how you said you'd give me $100 off? I'm like, oh, right, here's your discount. How do you use Printavo?
Keep track of it?
Yeah, so we use QBO, QuickBooks Online. I don't know exactly how to do it, but I do know that we do this. We create a credit memo, it's called. And so we go in, and I don't know if you use QuickBooks, but we just create a credit memo, and that goes onto their account. And so when we go to receive, like, let's say we generate a new invoice and we want to receive payment, that credit will be available. It'll pop up as an option when we go to receive payment.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool.
And so that's how we do it. But I imagine anybody, what software are you using? You don't have to share that. Yeah, so we need to ask Bruce this. I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah, we should ask him, because we use Printavo, but we also have created our own production system of how we do things. So we use Printavo for all the customer stuff, like the invoicing, the quoting, the getting paid. But then we use this other management software called Monday. Have you guys ever heard of that?
That's what Andy uses.
I use that.
Yeah. Oh, great. Cool. Mm-hmm. So for us, it works really good because these two programs talk to each other. Like, as soon as the shirts get ordered in Printavo is when it shoots off all these different item lines to Monday. And that's where it really opens things up for us to see what we're actually dealing with. Because like, how on the usual Printavo, I think I'm getting a little bit off track of what we were talking about, but how on the Printavo calendar, it'll be just say tomorrow you've got 5 actual POs on the schedule to do, but really it's not an accurate representation of what's really going on, because there could be 60 locations printed within those 5 jobs. So that's really not a real representation of what's going on tomorrow. It looks like a light day, like 5 jobs. That could be 5 setups on the other hand. No big deal.
Right. So, I know that Printavo is working on a power scheduler, like a way more robust scheduler. Okay. I saw a little bit of a beta version of it, but I think it's going to be a huge upgrade. I don't know when that comes out. I want to say 2022 some point.
Okay.
How do you create I asked, I know Steven Campus Inc. uses this, and I just asked him your question. How do you create a credit memo in Printavo? He just answered on an account. And so maybe we'll have an answer. Maybe there's a way to do it.
Well, I think I know what he means, where you can go to a customer's account and make a note that just says, like, October 15th, credit $50 on the next order. I think that's what he means.
He says, so his reply is no formal way. I make an invoice for a negative amount.
So the next time that customer orders, he's like, oh, here's a unpaid invoice of negative $15.
Okay. Maybe that's
Is
how
that what
it
he means?
Flags. Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's a great question.
I feel like you could. I mean, I've done it kind of like a weird way where.
Do you use Printavo?
I use when I use FreshBooks for making invoices and stuff, and I would just go back to that order, like whatever order we were giving them a credit on. I would make a note in that order and say customer gets credit on next order and put the date that order was.
Are you going to reference that order when they put in their next order?
I would honestly probably only do it if they brought it up. Like if the customer called, like
that's what Ricky's saying is that he forgets. That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying is if they come back with another order and they don't bring up the credit, then I'm probably not even going to remember. But if they call and they're like, hey, remember how last time you said you were going to give me $200 off? That's when I'll look at the last invoice and be like, okay, it says $200 off. But if it doesn't say $200 off, then I didn't say $200 off.
Right.
If I did say that, I would note it so that I can look back at it, because that's the only way I would ever figure it out.
Right. Maybe this is an innovation that Printavo's got to tackle.
Yeah, it's probably a thing. We're just dumb and we don't know where it exists.
For sure.
Right.
I'm definitely dumb, so I would think a thing.
Yeah, I'm very dumb. I don't even use Printavo.
No? I don't know. Like we used to use ASI. They had like an actual accounting software. We used that. Then we used Inksoft. Then we used Printavo. And now we use a combination of Printavo and Monday.
Yeah. I hear that quite a bit.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. Next question.
So, all right, fellows, let's get into some questions because I jotted down one or two here. Yo, Andy, this is one that I was wondering about.
He's got lots of questions for you, Andy.
Don't worry, Dilly. I've got some for you too.
Okay, it's fine.
It's mostly Yeti talk.
Mm-hmm.
I know that gets you all horned up talking about Yetis.
It does. And I don't have pants on either, so it's going to get wild.
Excellent. Oh,
so is Yeti
no longer mild?
Is Sasquatch? Is that the same thing?
The Yeti is the winter one.
Right.
And the Sasquatch is like the summer one. Right?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, glad we got that cleared up. Mm-hmm. Andy, this is, maybe you can't reveal this info at the moment, but I know that you were testing out a MSP 3140 with a single light source LED in the bottom. How'd that go? What's going on with that? What's the deal?
I don't know if it's available for production right now. It could be, but it was light source, but it was 2 strips, which I'm not sure why. I guess they weren't getting the light readings they needed to. So they made 2, and they modified the reflectors so that it would spread properly. But it exposed screens, and we determined in the end that it exposed better than our Starlight.
That's good.
Which is good, right? However, it still didn't expose the screens like we wanted it to. It still wasn't a full exposure. And I think this is us being very picky, because with the Starlight and also the MSP 3140 LED, we made a lot of screens. I mean, we could function as a shop, make screens all day, and go home, go to bed, and then wait for tomorrow. But in the end, the light source that we wanted was a full spectrum metal halide and a single point. And so we went back to the original exposure unit that we had. Only the one that we had custom built has a few bells and whistles on it that our old one didn't have. And so I don't think it matters to a shop who is reclaiming in a dip tank and who also is running under 1,000 impressions on all their orders and things like that. But it did come into play for us because if we do both of those things, and also we were trying to get a dot that we couldn't quite get with our LED. I don't know if that answers the question, but I'm not a fan of LED anymore for our shop. I think it works really well in certain shops, though.
So did you go back to the original MSP 3140?
Yeah, not the one that we had. Not the one that we had. We had a new one that's not available, I don't think, anymore, but I begged and pleaded M&R to make me one, and they did. And a couple of differences are, one is that it has a shutter on it, sort of like the Triolite. And so the bulb kind of powers down. It doesn't turn completely off. So I don't know if how familiar you are with a metal halide, but when they turn completely off, they have to cool for a while.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll have a strike failure. Yeah. And also when you turn them on, it takes a while for them to get to full power. And so ours has a shutter, which really helps.
Okay. Sick. So I guess at the end of the day, the answer is, who knows?
The answer is, I don't know if that is available, although I do know that every manufacturer is going to LED, and for a good reason. I mean, there's lots of, benefits having a LED exposure unit, and it works in most applications. I would say, if I had to guess, like 75% of the applications work fine. Yeah. But in our spot, and maybe even higher, but in our spot, we had to have fully cured emulsion mainly because of auto reclaim. That's our biggest issue. And because when we were sending screens through that weren't fully exposed, it was causing havoc in one of our chambers. And so we needed to be fully exposed, and post-exposure wasn't an option. I don't know. Hope that answered the question, but that unit is probably going to become a production unit, and will be available, and will probably work well in certain shops.
Right. Cool. Because for us, the timing isn't, we still have the original MSP 3140, works great. We love it. We've had it forever. The only thing that sucks is what you're talking about with the bulb, where it's got to cool down and then you've got to wait 60 seconds or whatever. And because realistically, by the time the eye image is done printing a screen and you're exposing and then washing it out, because the same person's doing that same cycle, that's enough time. When it's, in the exposure unit for, say, a minute, that's fine. The thing that sucks is when you rip it out, you want to rip a new one in there and hit start right away, but you got to wait for it. Yeah. That's why I've been kind of like, man, if they could have a single source LED, it would be popping. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's Bummer Town. It sounds like it's bottlenecking. Your screen room is bottlenecking at your exposure unit.
Yeah.
And you have to do one of two things: either buy another MSP 3140.
Right.
So you have two, so you never have to wait, I guess, or have a shutter like ours, or buy the Triolite, because the Triolite you can fit, I don't know, more than one screen on at a time. You don't have to expose just one screen. So, I mean, I really like the shutter. We don't bottleneck. The bottleneck is not at our exposure unit.
Cool.
Yep.
So I have other questions. Shall I say them?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's go.
Okay. Hang on. Let me look at a quick list here.
I want Dilly to get a question.
You want Dilly to get a question?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going for pie these days, buddy? When you're in NY, it's always on my mind. Do you guys have cup and char there? Is that you don't do cup and char pepperoni?
I don't know what that is.
What? Cup and char? It's like the buffalo style, where the pepperoni is curled up with the grease in the middle.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we don't really have that near here or any place that kind of makes that style.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
When you do that kind of pepperoni pizza, you need some hot honey on it.
Yes, I agree fully.
You know of the hot honey.
Yeah, big time. We do get that in Canada. Okay, what do you guys feel about this 4-workday business?
Like a 4-day work week instead of 5?
Yeah. Because it's hot on my mind big time.
I feel like both of us have debated it. There's shops that do it that it seems to work really well for. I just don't know if it would work well here without trying it for like a month.
Yeah. I feel like it's a good thing, man.
I feel like for the people that say that they really like it, their employees really like it because they're only working 4 days and they get like an extended weekend.
Yeah, that's
But the
banging.
problem is that when you're busy, like, what do? Do you just say, oh, I guess let's just keep doing the 4-day week, or it's too tempting to bring the 5th day back in.
I know. And that's the scary part for me, is that just say we did go down to 4, because like the idea would be to go to 4 10-hour days.
Right.
And then, but if shit went haywire, it would be tough to be like, all right, we're back to 5. That would be like a major.
And then when you cut
killer.
it off again, right.
That's why we haven't really tried to employ that fully yet. But man, I think that could be really cool, because at the end of the day, it's still the same amount of time throughout the week. So when you just said, what if we get really busy, we're doing the same amount of stuff. And then you don't have to deal with that morning, you know, the morning ramp up, and then the afternoon, you know, when you're done the day, coming down again.
Mm-hmm.
I think my concern is that we go so hard all day that we're too spent after 8 hours to go another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Essentially, I just don't know how there'll be the energy there.
Right.
Although I will tell you this. On Friday, I bought a pack of Oreos, Halloween Oreos, because they had the orange filling, and it said they were Boo Oreos. And I walked around. I had these tongs that I brought from home that we used to serve like ice or whatever. And I opened the pack and walked around the whole shop, and everybody got not just one Oreo. They could have 2. Most people chose 2. One person got 3. And that's just a perfect way to boost. You know, you get a little carbs and a little sugar.
I don't feel like this is the same scenario as giving someone a 4-day work weekend, like a 4-day weekend.
What I'm trying to say,
you're walking around being like, hey, do you want an Oreo?
The point I was trying to make is that if we're going to go 10 hours as hard as we do, after hour 8 is done and we have 2 more hours, I'm going to have to give everybody a whole fucking pack of Oreos because we're just too tired. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how we're going to maintain the level of output for 10 hours. You know what I mean? That's my only concern, whether it's we're printing shirts or we're designing at a computer. You know what I mean? Like, is 10 hours too much? I do really love the idea of, okay, well, you know, we have 3 days or they would have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because I just went through that. We're getting ready to leave town and I've had like 0 time to go get ready for that, you know, during the day, because when I get out of here, it's almost dark now. And so wouldn't it be cool to have a Friday off or something like that? But I'm just worried, or my concern is that I just don't know how we would have the energy to go. Everybody. I mean, I work 10 hours. I'm saying how everybody else would have the energy. You know what I mean?
I've actually never considered that. You know, like I'm looking at the brass tacks of it where I'm like, yeah, we could do 10 hours, but can we?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people probably could. That's
I feel
just
like it would be slacking after the 8 hours.
I think some people could. I think some people will go the whole 10 and be fine. I think on certain days, some people will be fine, and other days the same person might not be. You know, maybe they didn't get enough sleep that night before or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, 8 hours is a long shift already doing what we do here. Maybe 10 would be a problem. I don't know. Good work. I know some people are pulling it off though.
All right, you got one more question?
Yeah. Hey, Dilly, this one's for you.
Yes.
So, you know how you visit a whole bunch of shops?
Mm-hmm.
You do it way more than you do, right, Andy?
Yeah, I don't visit any shops. I'm not invited to visit any shops. I don't want to. We visit some shops. I should say we do visit some shops on like when we go to Long Beach, let's say, if we're going to a show, or like when we go to this conference up in Chicago, there might be a shop we go by. We did that before. Last time Dylan and I went to M&R, we jumped around to like 3 or 4 shops. And so I've visited shops, but you're right. Dylan is the man. He does the Blue Crew tour.
Nice. So this is my question, Dilly. Why haven't you visited us? And which shop did you go to that was like blowing your mind off? Because the one that I seen a video that you do of recently was at Second City, and because we work with them a little bit from time to time, I guess before COVID, when there was lots of touring and stuff going on. So it was kind of cool to see what they're like over there. But which shop have you been to where you're like, dude, you guys are doing it up?
The The funny thing about doing, like, I try to visit shops personally as much as possible, just because I like to go visit people and see their place. And if I get an opportunity to go visit someone, I will. But I got an opportunity with M&R to basically go to a different state once a month or whatever and visit some shops and kind of see their digs and everything else. So that's been kind of cool, but it's kind of been like a grassroots thing of like, let's find, like, the first two we did with like an intern, and we had some issues with like audio and video and like different things. But this last time I invited my buddy Brett, who's like a professional photographer, videographer, or whatever. And this doesn't really have anything to do with the actual visits, but having him there and doing it like as pro as possible. And we visited Utah, which was like fucking beautiful. The shops that we saw in Utah were amazing. Like, we didn't go to a single shop that was like, man, it's okay. It was like every single one was like, holy shit, this place rules. Nice. My favorite so far, as far as like technical, like just like in awe of how the shop was ran and what was going on, was Design Inc. in Utah. Like, that place was spotless and just like super pro, had like 14 autos. Like, that's not my style. Like, I probably would never go to like that size, but just seeing how they ran it and like how dialed every department was just like, it's like when you're into something and you go to like say you were into cars and you were like, oh, I had an opportunity to go to Jay Leno's garage and like just see the shit that he's collected and like curated. Right. It was kind of like that, where it was like, holy shit, this is how it's done if it's like on that scale. Second City was super nice too. Like, their place was super rad and like everything about that place was awesome. But just like they're all cool. Like, every shop has their own flair and feel and like the people and everything. So I like visiting them all. But like when you go into something like this and you don't know what to expect and you just see like,
a football field full of presses.
Right. It's like, holy shit. And like, you ask the dude, like, how do you manage this? Or like, how have you gotten to this point or whatever? And it's just like, kind of blows your mind at like how they do daily operations. Or if it's a place it's like, yeah, we have like 300 employees or whatever, you're just like, I have 10 and I want to pull my hair out of my head. Like, how do you do this? Stuff like that is just super rad. Also, I got to go to Black Rifle, which was really awesome because that's like a different story. That's not like a print shop that's doing customer orders. That's like, they have their own print shop because they have more than enough like people that want to order their merch, like their own brand, that they have to have their own like multiple auto print shop. Yeah. So like, seeing how they operate on that, they're only printing their own stuff, it was super cool. Like, yeah, we have more than enough work to do with, multiple auto setup, just doing our own shit. It's like, it was just super cool to see that place and hang out with those guys. So yeah, like I said, every shop's totally different, and I am super excited to visit more and more and more and do it as much as humanly possible, especially for me as like a shop owner too, like getting an excuse to go see someone else's place and learn like one nugget of information of like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Or I should implement that in my place, is like, it's super, super cool to do. So, and I will be at your place. Like, I'm coming. I just need to get to Canada.
Yeah.
I need to get across the border.
When you come, I've got a medium well steak with your name on it. It's going to be good.
Cover it in syrup.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic of faves, what's your guys' favorite episode that you've done? Because I for sure have one.
We did this a couple episodes ago, and Andy didn't have an answer.
Oh, sorry. Am I
kind of.
I brought it up. Stuff that you guys talk about all the time.
No, I brought it up that I had a couple that recently were stuck in my head. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Andy, you go first. What one is your favorite out of all the ones we've done?
I'm really liking this one right now.
I knew you were going to take the fucking cheese ball way out.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say.
This is a really good one, though. This one is really fun and engaging, like all the way through. We didn't have to like, next question. Like, it was just like, we had a good conversation.
Well, I'm having a ball, boys.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's episodes that I think of. I think of moments where like doing one with Tony at Tiny Fish where he wanted to keep going and I had to piss really bad and I didn't get up because he was just egging it on, or like hanging out with Justin and like him drinking the entire time. And then we took our shirts off at the end. There's shit like that, or just hearing certain people's stories that are just like, oh shit, I didn't realize that. I don't know if I could say like a specific favorite. I think it's just like everyone has its own little highlight.
Yeah, for sure. Mine is Tiny Fish. That was my favorite. They were on my radar. Like I had heard of them before the podcast. I seen the little logo with the fish bowl, and I thought it was cool. So I was like checking them out on Instagram, and I feel like maybe I heard of them before that. But yeah, that one was like a lot of fun for some reason.
It was fun for me too. I had never talked to Tony before.
Yeah.
And
Tony,
I love him.
I love Tony, and Tony's like my big brother in New York shop. Like he's the guy I've always like picked at first. And I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Or, you know, anything with like autos or technical stuff or whatever. I'm like, hey, I'm coming to see you.
Right.
You know, I'll drive up to his place and we'll hang out or whatever. But it's just like, he's a good dude and he's got his whole, you know, he's got a great thing going up there in Rochester. So
nice.
There's certain,
it was fun having him on.
There's certain shops that I talk to that I continue to talk to after the episodes for one reason or another. And he's one of them. And so we talk pretty regularly.
Nice.
I love him. Shop hacks. You got any for us?
I've got a couple. I had one big question I was going to ask you guys, but I don't know if you got to zip it up or
do it.
This one's a hot question because the list is, I'm sure, big in your own minds, no matter what shop you are. What was that one that you said that was the football stadium one? Design Inc. I'm sure they've got a big list of things that they could say right now, but what do you guys suck at? Because there has to be stuff that you guys just blow the big one at and are always working on. Because I know I've got my big list, but I'm sure other shops would look at us and be like, oh, no, you got that on lockdown. It's like, okay, well, maybe we do at this level, but we want it to be on this level.
What do we suck at personally or as a shop?
Just you personally.
Pleasing a woman. No, the shop.
Real quiet. Yeah, I would say, like, you mean like a print technique or just like a business model?
It could literally be anything, because when I think of some of the things that we suck at, and I don't necessarily think we suck, I just think there's a lot of room for improvement. It needs
improvement. Like, yeah.
For like, I know I've talked to Andy about it, and I'm pretty sure I talked to you about it too, Dilly, is like the clean floors. Mm-hmm. I love it so much. And pretty much what happened for us when it comes to being clean is I think that our shop is really clean. We've had people come in and be like, wow, holy crap, it's clean. But to me, when there's ink spots all over the floor, that's not like, it should be a cleaner floor. Mm-hmm. And when we first moved into our new shop in 2017, before that, we always refer to that time as a war zone. Because before we moved into the shop, no systems, no processes, hardly, ink everywhere all the time. And when we first moved in, we were developing those processes and systems. So ink was kind of getting all over the floor. And now it's gotten to a point where it's like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to start cleaning this. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the one thing that's on my list where I think that in January, I'm going to rent one of those industrial floor buffer things and go to town and see if I can get it up to stuff, because I know that we would be able to keep it that way now that we've got all these systems in place.
Yeah.
So
I mean, on that same note, like our shop's really clean and we try to keep everything as like swept and clean as possible. But like, again, to you, and the difference between my shop and Andy's shop when it comes to like just seeing the floor is like, I don't have polished concrete. Like, it's not shiny concrete. It's very like porous concrete. So like if we get ink on the floor, like, yeah, you could let it dry and scrape it up, or you could wipe it up right there and make a fucking mess. But it's so porous that if I was to wipe it, it would just be there forever. Like there's no getting it off because it's like in the like porous concrete. So like,
So what do you do?
That's something that I thought about doing eventually, but like now there's so much equipment in here. I feel like it'd be a huge pain in the ass is have them come in and like buff the concrete or like sand it down to where it was like smooth. You know what I mean? They'll go into like a Target or a Walmart or something and rip up all the tile and then have people come in and like sand the concrete down to where it's like mere finish. And it's like, I would love that here because if you got ink on it, it's like, whoop, wipe it right up off the floor and it's done and over with. Or there's the people that do the epoxy, but it's the same thing. It's just like, I have so much shit in here that they would have to go around like every foot of every press and like everything. And I feel like it'd be a huge pain in the ass. But I think our biggest thing is just making sure if you get ink on something, you wipe it up immediately. Yeah. Or if you make a mess, you clean it up immediately. Don't like just let it sit because then it's just going to be like piling up. But I also hire my mom to come in on Saturdays to like wipe things down and sweep and mop and everything else. So I have a cleaning lady that just comes in and like polishes it off on the weekend.
Cleaning mom. So what do you suck at then?
I would say for me, it is, I have no room to stage stuff. So like I suck at the fact of like being that chunk of prepared before a job. Like we're literally having the press operator go over to the shelf, pull the box off the shelf and open the box, lay the shirts out on their cart and then take them back to the press and print the order when they should be like pre-staged on a cart ready to go for that printer. I just suck at it because I don't have the space. Like I don't have any room to stage carts.
I thought you bought a trailer.
Yeah, but I don't have a place to stage the cart. Like I wouldn't do that in there. That would be more for like, I have an order that's 5 pallets worth of stuff. I would just store them in the trailer. I wouldn't like stage anything. So like,
yeah, it's not at a dock you're saying.
Right. Like I suck at that, but if it comes to anything else, the other thing I would say I suck at is, I don't know, like one thing I'm learning as much as humanly possible is fulfillment. Like I don't necessarily suck at it, but there's things that I hate about it.
Yeah.
Like there's things that like, I know there's companies that got it ultra figured out with like barcodes on everything and they're super dialed and organized. Like I'm not super dialed and organized. I'm learning as I go, trial and error. That's a big one. I would say that like, I wish I had more knowledge on. But other than that, I mean, I could say that for everything we do. Like I suck at this, suck at that, but I'm just learning on everything and trying to dial it in. But I think our biggest thing is just like, we're really good at pre-press with like screens and inks and stuff like that, but just getting more pre-press of like having things just be able to roll up to a press and go. That's something we
couldn't there be some sort of like middle ground for it? Because this is kind of how we do it. Not kind of, this is exactly how we do it, where we have it staged on a shelf when it comes in and the shipper receiver gets it all sorted out and staged.
Right.
And then we start to bring those boxes when it gets closer to the actual production date. There is shelving beside each press so that today's and tomorrow's jobs are on all these shelves. And then the first job is getting actually on a cart for the morning. But that's the only one, because after that, when that job is being ran, then the press assistant comes over and gets the next job out. And it's kind of like a leapfrog.
That's pretty much what we would want to do, but we just don't have room for the racks. Like I just don't.
Okay. Like by the presses, it's just
I just have no, like I have enough room in the shop now to like operate and like roll carts around, but I have no like blank area to be like, this is where I'm going to store some stuff.
Nice.
Like
unnice.
Yeah. I mean, it works. Like everything we're doing works and it's fine. It's just, I can't go that extra step. It could be better, but like I'm dealing with what I've got. Like, I don't think I need to buy a new building when this one's paid for and exactly the way we want it right now.
Yeah.
When I just want some more room for carts.
Yeah.
It's like, totally. I'm just going to make it work with what I've got.
Yep. Yeah, I hear that too. That's one of the scary things about buying a building, which we did too, is that if you grow a whole bunch, you're like, oh boy, this is not just like renting a new spot and moving in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But what about you, Andrew? What are you stinking at?
Well, right now we have a ton of growing pains. like if you were asking me that question 5 years ago, my answer would be different. And so our volume is too much for our capacity. For our capacity, whether it's production or what we can store here or what people can handle. And I think it's just a temporary wave. I hope it is in some ways, because I don't want to be bigger. I don't want to be a 14 press shop, although I respect and admire that. I don't want to be that. But right now, my answer would be communication. I think that we have been, and at times we're pretty good at communicating, but it's the hardest thing, I think, with this amount of people here now, because I think there's some breakdowns occurring that didn't happen, let's say 5 or 6 employees ago. There's some breakdowns happening. And so and that's really complicated. I don't exactly know how to fix it yet. I'm working on it though.
Nice.
And like little tiny baby steps, because I think we improved one department as far as communication goes. But dude, it's like it's a daily battle, just this communication thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that big time.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Shop hacks.
So I want to state now, I've seen a lot of Shirt Show episodes, but I haven't seen them all. So if I'm running over some,
it's all right. People
hack,
do it all the time.
I got one last week that is so like, or maybe the week before. This shop hack is so dumb, but so good. And I can't believe I didn't think of it. It's not dumb at all. It's genius, but that I never thought of it. The cake spatula for the emulsion.
Yeah.
Like getting it out of the scoop coater. Because we literally just throw on a sandwich glove and go whoop, and just with our finger do it. So that's huge. But the one that we use a lot is the orange sticker routine. So just say at the end of the press, something happens. There's some type of misprint, or somebody had a little touch of ink on the shoulder where they pulled it off. We put a little sticker on that shirt, a little orange thing that you just get from Uline. And then the person at the other end who's catching knows something's up with this tee. And we usually try and put that sticker beside whatever is screwed up, so that when that shirt comes down, like you can put those aside, still catch all your shirts, and then be like, oh, I need to spot gun zap this little spot.
Yeah, that shirt needs attention.
Yeah. Do you guys do that?
We do it where if they're printing something on press and something has an issue, like they notice a hole or something that needs fixed, they put it on the opposite belt. So when she's catching stuff at the end of the belt, she knows if our print is on the other side, that there's something wrong with that one.
Okay.
But
in the same way, do you guys do that when you change sizes?
We don't really do that when we change sizes. The only time that we sticker stuff, we have like a green sticker we stick on like the corner of the pallet, like the right corner of the pallet, is if it's a different box. So Chris, when he counts everything in, he already like sorts it, weighs it, puts a label on the box. So when the order's done, all it's got to do is be taped up and sent out. So when we print big orders, we do it per box. So if we're doing 1,000 pieces, they open a box and she'll stage it on a cart to where it goes to press, so that when they're done with that cart, they just grab another cart. But when the last shirt of that box goes on press, we sticker that shirt. So when she knows when it comes to the dryer, the last one that has a green sticker on it, that's the last one for that box.
That's smart.
So that way we don't have to stop. They can just keep printing, and they can put them back in that same box, and all it's got to do is be taped and put by the door.
Nice. Yeah, that's smart. We do that thing like you were saying when we do a size change. Like we'll put it, just say all the shirts are coming off horizontally onto the belt. We'll put one vertically just to let you know what's going on.
Right, like it's a different change.
Yeah. Okay, what about So I asked the printers what they do for little shop hacks on Friday, and one of them was like, man, the hoodie sleeve thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, every time we're done, just say I'm sure you guys have got your buckets full of misprints and shirts that you grab to do your tests on. He's like, I cut the sleeve off of a hoodie, split it down the middle. And then when I've got to do a test hoodie print, I've got a piece of fabric like this big, that's hoodie. I'm like, that's pretty smart. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Don't do it.
No, it's good if it works. Yeah. I got yelled at for that the other day because I went out and we had a pretty big bin of like test prints and like misprints and stuff. And I threw a bunch of stuff out that was like printed everywhere. Cause like when we test print on a tee, it's like every possible spot, front, back, inside, everything. We had a big pile of stuff that was like printed on everything. And I was like, I needed to toss these. But the other thing too is we don't really like to test print on a hoodie, like an actual hoodie. So if a hoodie gets messed up, usually it's just trash. So there was like a whole pile of them. And like literally as soon as I threw them out, Brian came up to me. He's like, hey, are there any hoodies to test print on? I got to test print this hoodie. I was like, I literally just threw them all in the dumpster. Like as soon as I threw them out, he was asking for one. So I need to keep a couple, I guess.
Yeah. Big time.
What else you got?
Let me check my notes. We reg sleeve prints on a full pallet instead of a sleeve pallet, because I don't know how you guys set up your artwork, but we've got three reg marks on the top and then one in the center. Mm-hmm. So it just helps a little bit there. But like the one thing that I'm just thinking now is it seems like you guys have, both of you, a ton of success with Tri-Lock. Am I right in saying that?
We don't even have registration marks anymore.
I know. I've heard you say that before, where I'm like, man, we can't do it. Like we wouldn't do it just because. Well,
I think that's a good hack for somebody who isn't using a Tri-Lock or a reg system. Is like, if you're trying to set up a sleeve pallet, if you're trying to set up a sleeve job, do it on a regular pallet because you have more reg marks. That makes sense. Yeah. But if you have a Tri-Lock system that's working, then like Dylan said, we don't have reg marks on our.
You guys don't use them either?
No.
So this is what I was kind of wondering, is because we have just never really had a lot of success with it. And when we first got our diamond back in 2014 or something like that, we got the Tri-Lock system. We didn't have a CTS, so we had to do it the old school way. And then I called up our pal, Glenn Carless, and was like, Glenn, this thing's bogus, buddy. It doesn't even work at all. Well, I mean, it did work, but not like great. And Glenn's like, I'm coming down there. So he comes down and he sets up this job. It worked like pure fire matte. It was amazing. It was perfect.
I hate to say it, but it's human error. Like it's the guy who's the cover sheet.
How could this at that point? Absolutely. And after that, I was being meticulous before that, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to be very, very meticulous. Like I am going to shut Glenn up right now. I'm going to call him and tell him that every job works perfectly. Not even close. And I'm like, how is it? I did it on a 7-color job the next day after he left. I'm like, how is it that not one reg mark is lined up anywhere through all this? Anyways, that was then. Now we have our CTS machine. We have the Tri-Lock with the lights that light up, all that Tri-Sync stuff. Tri-Sync. And I don't it's very, very close. But like our margin on our artwork is very small. Like usually for a stroke or a choke, we'll put like 0.15. So we have like very, very little margin. And that's what I've wondered sometimes. I'm like, do other shops just give themselves a larger margin with their strokes and chokes that it's fine?
I think that's kind of small. I think your trapping might be smaller than normal. But my question to you would be is to what kind of screens are you running?
We're running Sherlock.
And so that's great.
Well, he's got a good tension screen, I think.
Yeah.
It's not just about good tension. It's about equal tension. And that's probably where my guess would be that's where your problem is. I don't know this for sure because there's a lot of variables, right? But I think that the problem with Tri-Lock is not equal tension screens. And I mean that across the board. I mean that with your 230s to your 158s to your 140s, because you're going to set up 6 screens or 5 screens or whatever you're going to set up. And if you don't have tensions that are within a couple of each other or tolerance, then you're fucked. Yeah, it's not going to work right. You'll have that up and down outer edge situation, not the side to side typically, but the up and down.
Right. Yeah, man, here's the thing though, is that we've gone through all of these processes. Like after we went to ISS, we all came back because basically the whole shop went in 2017 or 18. And then we all decided, okay, what really sucks about our equipment is our screens. And we ended up going with the Sherlock stuff, which we're still happy with now. They hold great tension. They're great. But we've gone down this road of being like, okay, make sure this one is the exact same newtons as this one. Let's go. And then when you do the print, it's very close, but it's not dead on. I mean, we have had success. There will be like, oh, these are going great. This one is really successful. We had 2 jobs yesterday, but then we had 4 in a row that just didn't.
So you're saying when you set up a 6 color, 1 screen's out or all 6 are out?
I would say that all 6 may need a little bit of work, or maybe 3 out of
major.
the 6.
Something majorly is wrong. Because I mean, right. maybe if you don't hit dead nuts, like when you lock in, and maybe there's 1 screen you have to micro, sometimes 2, and that's something's really wrong. So I mean, if you're all 6 aren't hitting it, something's going on, and it could actually be, Dylan said a minute ago, user error or human error. That was with, I think you were referring to the sheets, trying to line those up. But yeah. I mean, there's also a touch. I mean, the same person has to lock in, and you have to lock in a certain way.
The only other thing I can think is that when you're spinning the tri-lock to each screen, are you pulling the tri-lock with your hand, or are you doing the next pallet?
Next pallet. Every single time, next pallet.
That's a good one. And that. Make sure, even if you aren't touching it, when you lock in, it's touched. And so I would say that make sure that's tight, because we keep a wrench and we wrench on it. I think on 2 presses, we don't. 1 press where you have to wrench pretty often. I didn't mean this to, you probably didn't mean this to go into a tri-lock deep dive, but we could probably have an whole episode on it. But I will tell you, I will go on record. We went on record last week, or was it the week before? But I will go on record saying that the tri-lock works and works very well. And it sometimes fails, but if it's going to fail, then it's something
it's
that
a bad
we did.
Screen usually.
It's something we did, or the screen, something's bad. But the tri-lock absolutely works, 100%. And I would never go a day without it. And I use it to set up 1 color fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because why? Because it just locks in and it's there and it's centered and it's perfect, and you just go.
Oh yeah, dude. Don't get me wrong. Like they are real close for the most part. It's just like
I wonder what it is, man.
I don't know, dude. Like I've just heard other shops like you 2 guys who are like, nope, it's perfect. And Glenn, but look at this though, dude. The one time, so that was at our old shop when we just had the Diamondback. Then we got the iImage, and a Sportsman at the exact same time in 2018. And then right from day one, the M&R Tech is in our shop. And we were starting with a pretty tough job. We were starting with a 9-color job that was sent down from Second City. And we're like, okay, perfect. Let's try it on the new press. Let's try the new CTS with the tri-lock. We put it all in, not 1 screen in. And I'm kind of barking at this dude who's setting it up, where I'm like, are you kidding me? So again, I called our pal Glenn, and he's like, I'm coming down again. And he tried to do what he did last time. He was in the screen room. He imaged the screen. He burnt the screen. He washed out the screen. He did everything except for tape out the screen, puts it on press, goes around once, and he basically does a mic drop. He's like, doesn't even look at the print. And me and like 3 other printers are like, Glenn, you didn't look, buddy. And then it was like, all mishmash. He's like, what the hell? His mind was blown. And that day ended with us being like, oh,
I think long story short, it's just Canada. Because
could have been like the maple syrup splashed all over everything.
Right. I think
know.
it's just too much Canadian bacon.
I don't even like Canadian bacon, dude. I like regular bacon. Canadian bacon sucks. It's the kind where they
ham.
Yeah,
I think
dude. They had to like preserve it or something.
For me, anyway, where M&R fails is their instruction or their training. I should maybe even. So like when I bought the hothead, it showed up here in a box. It wasn't shipped in a crate or anything. It showed up in a box, and it didn't give me any guidance. Like it didn't say, oh, by the way, you might want to set this your heat to this and your speed to this and your pressure to this. Nothing. Right. And I think actually the same thing kind of went for the iImage when we bought it. It showed up and a guy installed it, and that person got it working, like up and running. But we never really got instruction on, you know what? Here, do these 25 things and you'll have a lot of success. And I think
like this emulsion works really good with this ink.
We never got that. That
was the biggest thing that was for us. Is we spent like a month going back and forth on trying to figure out what emulsion worked with the iImage ink.
Here's my thing. If I'm going to sell a very expensive piece of equipment, I think that if there was an expert in the world or the country or whatever, or maybe a few, and they came here, or let's say they could fly out to Presstime, and spend one day there and get to the bottom of, through process of elimination or whatever, why it's not working, because it works, but we got to figure out why it's not working at your shop, and then just go through that and then get it to work. They would sell so many more because it's a great thing. Like you're able to print so much more every day because you're not wasting time regging screens. And so it's a really great product. It's just that the support on it, I guess, is lacking. It's too bad too.
Yeah.
Too bad.
I think you're spot on, dude. Big time. Hey, you don't think I'm a weenus for using Glenn's real name, do you?
No.
Is he going to be mad at me?
No, Glenn's a great dude. Like he was trying to help you. Like he did everything he could. Mm-hmm. So.
Big time. Yeah.
No, I love Glenn so much.
Yeah. Sucks he retired, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right. What is one thing you need every morning?
Glass of water and these apple cider vinegar gummies.
You like the gummies?
Yeah, dude. I want to do the thing and be badass.
It's so gross.
I can't do it, dude. So I eat the gummies. I don't even know if they do anything for my health. I'm just like, I've been sucked in by all the hype. So I just eat the gummies, dude.
I know. Yeah. I used to have the pill version, but like I don't ever see any.
So I don't know anything about this. What am I?
It's just supposed to be good for like your gut health.
Everything, right? Yeah. Like apple cider vinegar, I guess, is the cure for all common problems with your body and your health or something.
Your money,
I don't know.
And your attitude and your addiction.
You'll be rich if you eat these things, man. Trust me.
Right.
So yeah, but I used to drink iced coffees, but they make me all crazy, so I don't drink coffee anymore.
What show are you watching right now?
I just finished up Midnight Mass. Did you guys watch it?
I see that on Netflix. Is that any good?
It was banging, dude. It was really good. I liked it a lot. Yeah. Right now, though, me and my wife are into spooky stuff. So every day in October, we watch a scary, like every day that we can, we watch a scary movie. Uh-huh. I'm dying to see Halloween Kills. Doesn't that look tight?
Yeah. A buddy, an employee here, Rich, has a podcast where he does like nerdy talk and stuff. And he's super into movies and he goes and sees every movie and then like talks about it on the show. And he went and saw it on Thursday when we usually go to the movies. We went and saw The Duel, and he came out of the movie and was like, yeah, it's really good until the end. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't watch like horror movies. Like I just don't care for them. So I was like, I'm never going to watch it anyway. Just tell me what happens. And when he explained it to me, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But it's good in the fact, like, if you want to go see a scary movie and there's like gory kills the entire time, then.
Yeah. And it's setting up for the third one.
Right.
For like the last of the trilogy.
Right.
Yeah. Dylan's he's more of a rom-com guy.
Yeah. I'm a rom-com.
Are you?
But me, I can't watch those movies because Joe can't watch those movies.
Oh, she gets spooked?
So you're hiding behind her right now.
I don't really care for them too much either, but I will watch them, but she can't watch them because it really like affects her,
Right.
big time. So she can't watch them. But I do highly recommend Ted Lasso. Whoever it doesn't have that in their queue, put it in there.
Oh, I've heard
It's
of
awesome.
this.
It's awesome.
Cool.
Stephen
It's on
Campesine
Apple
told me
TV.
about it. Yeah, I love it.
What does he do?
like
It's
a
got
soccer
Jason
coach?
Sudeikis, right?
Yeah, right. And so he is a football coach in America, and he's hired to go be a football coach in England, which is very different. But he's a really, really, really good leader, and there's just really good storyline to it. I love it so far.
Cool.
Next question is beach trip or mountain trip?
Dang, they both sound great, to be honest with you. I don't know. I love the scorching heat, dude. I love it when it's just pumping hot. It makes me feel good. I'm like walking around outside, getting the sunshine on me.
Because he's in
great.
Canada. It must be.
I know.
I don't know.
To him, scorching heat is like 75 degrees.
Right.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know, but I like it a lot. But
Man, I
do
love it when
the
it's a
mountains too, dude.
scorcher. It's like 68 degrees outside and it's just pumping down on you.
It gets hot here in the
No, I
shop.
know.
Sometimes it's like 100.
I get it. I am in the same boat. I'm not that far from you, so
Oh yeah.
it's close. All right. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't cheap out. Kind of. Okay, I'm not saying that right.
You are.
No.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know how like when
You
you
get what you
first
pay
say,
for.
Yeah. You know when you first get into say music or something and you're like, "Oh, I want this Gibson Les Paul." But you don't buy that. You buy the Epiphone Les Paul.
Right.
And then you're like, 6 months in, you're like, damn, I really should have did that. And that's always the advice that I give to new printers. Anybody that asks me that's starting, they're like, what should I do? What should I get? I always tell them to get what you want and maybe even overbuy just a touch. Like, for example, I didn't even take my own advice when I was telling you about that, when we bought the Sportsman and the iImage and all that stuff in 2018. What we should have bought was the Gauntlet 3, or we should have bought a Challenger 3 or something. But I was like, you know what? This one's really fitting our price budget. This one seems, it's pretty good. It's basically there. But 6 months in, we were like, damn, we should have got that Gauntlet 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say like that for sure. Even the very first press that we bought, if I would have known even just a little bit more than I did, I wouldn't have bought that brown press. I probably would have bought a Riley Hopkins or, something like that, or even a Sidewinder to get into it more, because that press caused me so much trouble, so much basically
Actually cost you more in the long run.
It was like like I had like what is it? PSD? No.
PTSD?
Yeah, I had PTSD from this thing. So when I got on a real press and when we got our Sidewinder, I'm like, this is what it's like.
Right.
Wow.
We talk about that all the time. That is
yeah.
like, if you have the space and you have the means, you should definitely you should go big or go home.
Yeah.
Like you should get something. Again, it's like, okay, I need an auto, but I guess I'm going to get a 6-color auto. I feel like that's like the worst mistake ever. It's like, dude, a 6-color auto, like once you get a flash and a cool down on there, you're at 4 colors.
Yeah.
And like, to start out in like the first year, you might be like, yeah, this is perfect. But after that, it's like,
shit,
you can't do anything over a 4-color.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like once you get going and you're like, oh, well, like same with us, we bought our Sportsman and then we're like, oh, well, only thing we'll ever need is an 8-color press because we're only going to do 6-color prints. And then you start getting all these customers that are like, oh, I want 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever. And it's like, you shoot yourself.
You're trying to make it work.
Right. It's like, oh, let's reduce colors. Let's do this. Let's do this. When it's like, we should have just bought a 14-color press to where we're printing 12 colors on.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. I get it. It's like money and space and everything else. But I feel like if you had, that's what I'm saying. If you have the space, if you have the means to buy it, you should get it.
Yeah, if you're serious about it, I think you should go for it. I also think that it inspires to do better work as well.
Right.
Like going back to the music stuff is like, if you get the drums you really want instead of the halfway ones, I think you're going to be inspired to play more, to play better, to get better, all that stuff.
Right. I agree.
I just realized that screen printers don't get PTSD, they get PSD, like you said, and it's Photoshop stress disorder, like a PSD file.
Yeah.
It almost makes sense. So it's perfect.
Big time.
It was a slip up, but it actually made sense to me. Next question is, what's your go-to snack?
Miss Vicky's sea salt and malt vinegar chips.
That was
You
very
knew right
quick
away.
and very specific.
It's true, man. That's my stuff.
All right.
Well, you're already
You guys
getting
have
your
Miss
vinegar
Vicky's,
there.
right? But that is not,
It's not apple cider.
Well, drink some apple cider with the chips.
It's not the same.
There you go.
Do you prefer a night in or a night out?
Man,
Are you-
I know I'm.
Are you a mild boy or a wild boy?
That should be a question, right? We're going to rephrase that question.
I think I am a wild boy because when rickshaw's off the chain, look out. I'm coming in hot, dude.
All right.
I'm pitting. I'm jumping off the stage. I'm drinking 59,000 beers. Play fighting. I'm trying to make you listen to Turnstile. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, and like I said earlier, if a friend or somebody that I want to be around is like, hey, dude, let's go do this, I'm in.
You peer pressure easily.
Yeah. And I just think that I live by, I don't do that many things to excess, only on certain times. So basically what I mean is like, if there's a party, I party. If there isn't, I don't.
Right.
So if there's nothing going on tonight, I'm staying in. If there is, going out.
If you're going big, you're going home. Like
Maybe the lesson of the
going
first
big.
5 years you say yes a lot, and then the next 5 years you say no. I think the next 5 years, and then you got to say yes a lot again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how life is. I mean, if we split it into thirds anyway, the first third of your life say yes a lot. The second third, a lot of no's. Third yeses.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with business, I think that you're right. Or sorry, with business, I think it's the yes until you get to the no's. With life, I think that you're spot on. Because like now that we've rolled into not the no time of the business, but the really honing in on what we do and trying to only do that real good, I can't ever see us going back to being like saying yes to anything that comes through the door.
Mm-hmm.
But with life, though, you know what I mean? Like, look at my dad. He was like a total party animal, has kids, is like, okay, I got to be like I got to be the dad around here. Now that all the kids are grown and we're out of the house, he's like the nicest guy I ever met. So he did the yes, no, yes.
That's right. Yes, no, yes. All right. Final question. What's for dinner tonight?
Lasagna.
Oh, it sounds so good right now.
I had it all lined up. I'm like, hey babe, I'm going to be doing this podcast. They're usually like 3 hours. So you have to do all the dinner and make sure it's ready. Like not in a jerk way like that, but I'm like,
right.
I'm going to,
but when you get home, it's not going to be ready. It's going to have an hour left.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, lasagna. She said she's got it in the oven already.
Well, lasagna is always better the second day. So you should just eat it tomorrow.
Most things are, dude. Chili, soups, stew, second day.
Second day for sure.
What are you guys having?
Probably just going to filter feed off the air and think about your lasagna is what I'm going to have.
Come on, can't you go to an Olive Garden or something?
Oh, I'm so far from. I've never been to Olive Garden ever.
No? It's my parents' favorite restaurant.
Never been. Andy went last night.
Yeah?
Right. Yeah, it's our Saturday night go-to.
Nice.
The breadstick.
Yo, I know that you guys got to go and you got stuff to do. But do you guys ever go to Ted's?
What's
Ted's hot dogs?
I don't have.
You don't know about what? It's a New York State friggin'
Maybe
chain.
it's in the city or up near Rochester, Buffalo. But
it's all in the Buffalo area.
Yeah, it's probably just a Buffalo thing.
You never been to Ted's hot dogs, and you definitely haven't, Andy, because that's nowhere near you.
Mm-mm.
Sorry, boys.
No, I'll have to get one while I'm on my way to your place.
Yeah.
Right.
Only
I
for
mean,
boiled.
No, they're flame char grilled. Dude,
Okay.
I always hype it. And then whenever anyone gets it, they're like, that was a hot dog.
Right. It tastes like a hot dog.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, man, we really appreciate you coming on. I've had you on my list for a while.
Stoked
I'm
to
glad
do it,
we
man.
finally got to do this, and I'm definitely gonna charter a trip up to you. I mean, you're really not that far. Probably what, like 5-6 hours, maybe.
Truly, man, I couldn't tell you. Because in my mind, New York is two things. It's Buffalo and it's New York City. So I have no idea where you are.
I'm 3 hours from Buffalo.
How far from NYC?
2 hours.
Oh, that's sick. So that's where you go when you go to a concert or go to like a really
Most
nice
of the
restaurant
shows, because of the way they book them, you know how you can't be within a certain mile radius for the same type of shows. Like most of the shows we go to are in Rochester and Buffalo and Syracuse. So Syracuse is an hour, Rochester is like 2.5 hours, and Buffalo is like 3 hours in the other direction.
Okay.
New York City, I try not to go to as much as possible. I've probably been to New York City like 5 times my entire life.
Really?
And it's because it's just a huge pain in the ass. Like,
it's so sick though.
it sucks to drive in. Like, you have to have plans of like where you're going.
Yeah.
Because you have to find out where you're going to park. Or the 2 or 3 times I've gone, I've taken a bus, because then you just get dropped off at the bus station, and then at night you just hop back on the bus and come back.
Nice.
But yeah, I just don't.
I think that what you and I should do, Dylan, is I'm going to fly in. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go pick up Tony in Buffalo, and then pick up Rick, and then go to Ted's.
Let's do
Sounds
that.
like a fucking plan to me.
And also, while we're eating our Ted's, we're going to watch Ted Lasso.
Right.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
We're going to go on a wine tour.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I watch the show all the time. You guys are doing good stuff. I think you guys are helping the whole industry as a whole. All the stuff that you guys do, it's really good. You know, you're putting it out there, and I appreciate it.
We're just shooting the shit with guys like you.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I think it's good. You know, I just think you're doing work for the good fight.
We're doing the good.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Okay. Have a good
thanks,
Sunday,
guys.
dude. Well,
Yeah,
later.
you too.
Bye.